way back. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy Marquise Grissom and Florida coming up. John Olerud and the Blue Jays winners this afternoon against Baltimore. The highlights still to come. And what an afternoon for Jimmy Key. He is 16-3. New York defeating Cleveland. They sweep the series. It's all coming up on Baseball Tonight. Hello again, everybody. Tough news for the Expos. Atlanta 9-5 winners over Philadelphia this afternoon. Jeff Blauser had 3 hits, so Montreal 3 up heading into this one. Let's go to the park.
You're watching Major League Baseball on TSN, the sports network.
The Expos opened their big series in Atlanta a game and a half ahead and promptly fell behind John Smoltz 4-1. The rally started in the 6th when Will Cordero touched Smoltz for a 2-run homer. That cut the lead to 4-3. Cordero's blast set the stage for Moises Alou's heroics 1 inning later. Alou's triple scored Marquise Grissom and a hard-charging Cliff Floyd. That gave the Expos the lead for the first time. John Wetland closed that game, and the Expos extended their lead to 2.5. Game 2, and the Braves sent out their ace, Greg Maddux, but they gave their defense the day off. Jeff Blauser started the 7th with an error. Maddux finished it with a bad throw to first. Maddux and the Braves were done. The Expos had a 3.5 game lead. Game 3, the Expos sent out ace Ken Hill. They had chances for a sweep. Larry Walker left the bases loaded in the 1st when he struck out. Walker left the bases loaded again in the 5th when Atlanta starter Kent Mercker induced a pop-up. Atlanta took advantage, though, in the 6th inning on Jeff Blauser's 2-run home run. The Braves salvaged Game 3, but the Expos were the big winners, leaving Atlanta with a 2.5 game lead. The lead is now 3 as they face the Marlins next.
Expos Baseball on TSN. Tonight, the Montreal Expos and the Florida Marlins live from Joe Robbie Stadium.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Van Horn along with Ken Singleton. Well, the Expos are a hot club. They've won 10 of their last 11. The best record in Major League Baseball, tied with the New York Yankees. And the Expos, of all of the teams in baseball, and among a few others, are really disappointed at the prospect of a stoppage in play, Ken.
Well, the way the Expos have been playing, and they've been playing super, as you indicated, Dave, just about everything has been working for this ball club. They've won 4 out of 5 on this road trip, really playing some good ball in Atlanta, now here at Joe Robbie Stadium in Florida. And if you look at the overall record of the Expos, the standings at this point, you can see where the Expos are, 64-38, 26 games over the 500 mark. That's the first time they've been that far over 500 mark this year. But also, I think where the team has really picked it up and really come along is in their road record. The fact that last year they won only 39 games on the road overall. This year, look at that road record, 35-19, first in the league. They've pitched well on the road. Their ERA for the team, 3.38. The batting average, maybe not quite what it is at home, but 268 is still pretty good as far as the hitting is concerned.
All right, the Expos started this trip in Atlanta, took 2 out of 3 from the Braves. They're going for the sweep in the 3-game series against the Marlins here tonight. On the mound for the Expos, Pedro Martinez. And for the Marlins, David Weathers. This is Expos Baseball on TSN.
To discover the real difference between the world's 2 leading soft drinks, we're implementing an anthropological study. Chimp A will be allowed nothing but Coke. Chimp B, nothing but Pepsi. The results are astounding. The chimp that drank Coke showed improvement in motor skills. The chimp that drank Pepsi, however, disappeared.
Hello? It's him.
We need an 800 service that delivers more profit more ways.
If I could afford an 800 number, I'd have one.
Why can't we have just one 800 number for Canada and the U.S.?
Introducing Advantage 800 service. Give your bottom line the advantage.
As your engine revs higher, the oil inside creates a hydrodynamic wedge, a protective layer that builds up and keeps engine parts separated. But as your oil's viscosity breaks down, so can the wedge. That's why Castrol GTX provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. Because if your viscosity breaks down, what's next? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's harder working engines.
Look for Castrol's free oil filter offer at these and other leading outlets.
David Weathers is on the mound for the Florida Marlins tonight as we start this game. Temperatures over 90 degrees. Still lots of bright sunshine here. Let's check out the Expos lineup, brought to you by Bridgestone, makers of advanced technology tires for your car or light truck. Marquise Grissom, Cliff Floyd and Rondell White make up the top of the order. Larry Walker bats in the cleanup spot with the catcher Darren Fletcher, number 5 in the order. Will Cordero, the shortstop, will bat 6th. Then Sean Berry moves up to 7th. Juan Bell fills in at second base. In the 8th spot, Pedro Martinez is pitching.
Put your car on a new set of Bridgestone tires and put us to the test for 30 days. See your local Bridgestone tire dealer for details. Bridgestone, advanced technology tires. Put us to the test.
Marquise Grissom about set to step into the batter's box, and David Weathers will make his first pitch. We talked about the sunshine, and it is still shining brightly here in South Florida, but that shadow that you saw can create a problem, Ken.
Yeah, with the 6:05 start here at Joe Robbie Stadium, you can see where Marquise Grissom is standing in the shade and pitcher David Weathers is standing in the sunlight. So at this time, they're usually taking batting practice and not hitting as you might see pitches in the ball game. So it could be tough on the hitters at this point.
Marquise Grissom batting at .287, 8 home runs and 40 RBIs, and number 2 in the National League in scoring runs with 83 behind Jeff Bagwell. That pop foul is out of play, right side. Grissom, Floyd, and White at the top of the order. Plenty of speed for the Expos there. Of that threesome, Grissom, of course, is the veteran, 27 years old. David Weathers, the right-hander, down low. He is a game under 500. Here's Marquise Grissom, 35 steals, second in the league, second in runs to Bagwell. The stolen base leader going into games today, Deion Sanders at Cincinnati, one more than Marquise Grissom. Weathers falls behind now on the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
One thing that might be a key for Weathers early in this ball game, his ability to keep the ball down, and it looks as though, at least to Grissom, he has done so. When he's missed low out of the strike zone.
Grissom taps the ball, sending Abbott to his left, and he will not be able to make a play, and that'll be an infield hit for Marquise Grissom to lead off the ball game. Abbott has pretty good range and a good arm, but Grissom with his speed puts tremendous pressure on even the best of middle infielders.
Yeah, even if Abbott had come up with this ball, there's no way he's going to throw out Marquise Grissom, moving away from first base and then trying to make a strong throw to first. Grissom with too much speed. And this opening of this ball game kind of reminds me of the series, the most recent series at home for the Expos against the Dodgers, in which they had 11 infield hits and just caused havoc for the Dodger infielders.
Rookie Cliff Floyd batting at .289, 3 home runs, 37 RBIs, right back into the lineup tonight after leaving last night's lineup with a slight concussion. Received in a play at second base as he attempted to steal and collided with second baseman Brett Barbary. The 21-year-old drafted number 1 by the Expos in June of '91. Grissom at first base. Weathers with the pitch, missed and caught the outside corner. 0-2 on Cliff Floyd.
Well, the Expos come in leading the league in stolen bases, but here's a man who might impede their stealing tonight, Benito Santiago. Threw out Cliff Floyd last night when Cliff had that slight concussion.
Grissom with the lead, showing no sign of going. And Floyd takes low, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think one of the keys for the Marlins tonight, if they want to slow the Expos down, it's not so much Santiago, it's how quickly Weathers gets him the ball and how often he throws the first and holds the Expos runners.
Weathers holds at the belt. Grissom is not running, and that's low and outside. We have seen from Marquise Grissom that when a left-handed batter is up there, Cliff Floyd, Larry Walker, if he's going to run, he usually runs early in the count.
Oh, with Colburn holding Grissom on, there's that big hole over on the right side for Cliff Floyd to shoot at if he gets a pitch on the inner half. You can see the space between Colburn and Brett Barbary, the second baseman. A base hit through there, and Grissom with his speed is going to be at third base.
That shadow moving out quickly, almost to the halfway point between the mound and the home plate area. The teams play, of course, on the natural grass and dirt playing surface here at Joe Robbie Stadium. A football stadium adapted to handle baseball. This, of course, is the home of the Miami Dolphins. Santiago and Weathers trying to get together on things right now. On the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch to Floyd. Looking at Weathers and his numbers, his 22nd start.
Well, the key number there that I can see is the opponent's batting average, 289. That's kind of high, which means he really has to keep the ball down and towards the corners. If he gets to the middle of the plate, it's going to get hit and hit hard.
That ball is popped foul out of play by Floyd. Good catch by a fan. In Weathers' last 10 starts, he's gone 3-4 with an ERA of almost 5.5. And his record has dropped below the 500 mark for the first time since he lost his opening start of the season. Grissom draws another throw. Weathers with 8 wins overall, 6 of them at Joe Robbie Stadium. He leads the Marlins staff with 6 wins here in their home ballpark. Breaking pitch fouled away. Cliff Floyd now with 301 at-bats, 87 hits, 18 of them doubles, 4 triples, 3 home runs. Floyd takes inside for ball 3. Floyd was the Expos' everyday first baseman until Larry Walker came up with the injury to his right shoulder. He has a slight tear in the rotator cuff. Walker has moved from the outfield to the infield. Floyd has gone back to the outfield. Grissom still at first base. He's running, and Floyd chops the ball to the right side. Colburn up with it. Nobody's at first base. Floyd comes up limping, running that ball out. And Expos are at first and second. And we'll see if Floyd can stay in the ball game.
Well, the Expos are already short some players. Remember, Moises Alou is injured. Mike Lansing's injured tonight. You can see the foot race is on, and there's no way that Weathers is going to get there before Cliff Floyd. Little late coming off the mound, more or less just watching the action, and that is a definite no-no for a pitcher. He has to get over on any ball hit on the right side, and you can see no chance. Even if he caught the ball cleanly, Cliff Floyd had a base hit.
A couple of infield hits. Grissom and Floyd aboard. Rondell White, the batter, drives the ball to center field. Carr goes back. And he's got it just at the edge of the track. He unloads quickly. Grissom will make a turn at third and will hold up there. White hit a long home run here last night, but drove this ball to straightaway center field. And Expos are at first and third with 1 out.
See Chuck Carr getting back just about almost to the warning track and straight away center field. It's well over 400 feet. And Rondell White, when he hits a ball, it is definitely tagged. He hit one here last night, a long home run way up over the scoreboard.
The manager of the Marlins, Rene Latchman. And a sign there in the event Floyd would be running. He came up limping at first base, but appears to be okay. Larry Walker's hitting .311, 16 home runs, and a team leading 75 runs batted in. Floyd has 10 stolen bases, has been caught 3 times, and of course Grissom's at third base. Would they throw through if Floyd took off? The pitch is low and a ball. It doesn't take much to score Grissom from third. As a matter of fact, the #1 reason outside of pitching that the Expos have won 64 games so far this season is team speed. Walker drives a ball to left. Conine watches it go over his head off the wall at the 361 sign. Grissom's home to score on a double by Walker. Floyd to third base, and the Expos have a 1-0 lead. Larry Walker's 39th double of the year.
Third straight game here in Florida that the Expos have scored in the first inning. Walker picking on a pitch, a low fastball, and drives it off the wall in left center. Conine made a good play, got it back in quickly, but the Expos are on the board once again and jump off to a lead against Florida.
1-0 Expos, and Darren Fletcher up trying to break out of a slump. This would be a good time from the Expos standpoint because he's 0 for 15, but he's got a couple of men in scoring position. Floyd at third base, Walker at second base. In addition to 0 for 15, Darren is just 3 for his last 33. Base hit to right, and it's in for extra bases. That'll cash in too. Floyd is home to score. Walker scores easily, and it's a double for Darren Fletcher and a 3-0 lead for the Expos.
Well, the Expos continue to hit well on this road trip, particularly here in Florida, and you can see the smile on Darren Fletcher's face at second base. He got a hanging breaking ball to jump on and ripped it into the corner, and picks up 2 more RBI. So maybe the drought is starting to break for Darren Fletcher. You can see the ball being run down by Gary Sheffield, but no chance to get the ball back in. I mean, every ball that's been hit this inning outside of the ones hit by Floyd been hit hard.
Will Cordero, the talented young shortstop, batting .298, 15 homers, 59 runs batted in. Just 22 years old. Out of the stretch, Weathers delivers, and Cordero takes a strike. Cordero did not have a hit last night. He did score a run. That's fouled straight back. The shortstop with terrific numbers, 8th in the league in doubles with 27. Leading the everyday starting shortstops in home runs and RBIs. That pitch is swung on and missed. That's all for Cordero. 2 down here in the first inning. And Sean Berry will be the batter. Defensively for the Marlins, let's look at the entire setup. With Jeff Conine in left and Chuck Carr in center, Gary Sheffield plays in right. Greg Colburn's at first, Brett Barbary at second, Kurt Abbott at shortstop, Jerry Brown at third base, Benito Santiago behind the plate, and David Weathers on the mound.
Dave, the Expos have won 6 of the first 8 games against the Marlins this year. This is the 9th contest between the 2 teams. And the Expos, with the 3-run outburst here in the first inning, have outscored the Marlins on the season 51-21. And that's why they have dominated the Marlins thus far.
The Expos have scored 3 here in the first, and Weathers has now thrown 25 pitches. Sean Berry last night came to bat in the 9th inning. They had walked Will Cordero intentionally in front of him to load the bases, and Berry gave the Expos their final margin of victory. He had 4 RBIs last night. There's a foul ball out of play. His RBI in the 7th inning broke a 3-3 tie and put the Expos up 4-3. And then in the 9th inning, his 3-run triple gave the Expos the final 7-3 victory. Berry for the year batting at .270. Fletcher at second base. Weathers with the pitch. Santiago scrambling to come up with that.
You know, as warm as it is here in South Florida, David Weathers, this first inning might be his undoing in the whole ball game. He's going to finish with near 30 pitches in this first inning in trying to retire the Expos, and you know, that might take enough out of him, and he'll be out of the game fairly early tonight. It is quite warm here in South Florida.
Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that is low and a ball. When we drove over to Joe Robbie Stadium this afternoon, we checked out the thermometer, and it was 97 degrees, 36 Celsius mid-afternoon. 3-2 the count on Berry. That's all for Sean Berry and the Expos. 3 runs on 4 hits, and it took 29 pitches for Weathers to get through the first inning. The Expos have 3. The Marlins are coming up.
This summer, thousands of fans won tickets to the year's biggest concert event courtesy of Bad Ice. Now we're giving you a commemorative Division Bell poster. Look inside specially marked cases of Labatt Ice for your poster, or call 1-900-561-5353.
What do you want from me? Spicy, crispy, curly, thrilling. McCain Super Spirals. We love what you've done to our fries. You've spiced them up, curled them up, and turned them all around.
McCain has taken its famous super fries, dipped them in light-tasting batter, and surrounded them with bite after bite of spicy, crispy satisfaction.
You've spiced them up, curled them up, and turned them all around. McCain Super Spirals. Whoa! We love what you've done to our fries.
This is Pedro Martinez, and he is warming up to face this lineup. The lineups are brought to you by Bridgestone, makers of advanced technology tires for your car or light truck. Chucky Carr, Jerry Brown, and Gary Sheffield make up the top of the Marlin batting order. Jeff Codine's a cleanup hitter. Greg Colbrin, number 5, number 6, catcher Benito Santiago, then Kurt Abbott, Brett Barbary, and pitcher David Weathers. And here is Pedro Martinez up close, 8-5, Ken.
Chance to look at Pedro, and certainly comforting for Martinez to go to the mound with a 3-0 lead, but he also hopes that history does not repeat itself. The Expos twice in the first 2 games of this series had leads of 3-0 and 4-0, only to see the Marlins come back and tie the game. Of course, the Expos rallied both times to win it. So Pedro trying to hold the Marlins off the board while his own team can increase the lead.
Pedro, 23 years old now, 5'11", 162. Probably pound for pound the hardest throwing pitcher in baseball.
Not much more than 160 pounds, but Pedro has a very lively right arm.
Defensively for the Expos, an outfield of Rondell White, Marquise Grissom, and Cliff Floyd. On the infield, Larry Walker, Juan Bell, Will Cordero, Sean Berry, and Darren Fletcher. Now, I know that if you just tuned in, you see some names missing from the Expos lineup, and defensively you see a name like Alou missing and Lansing. Now, we'll hear more about that, but Moises Alou is out with a right hamstring injury. Mike Lansing was hit on the left elbow Friday night here. He is out. Here's Chuck Carr, and he shortened to bunt. Ball 1. The leadoff hitter for the Marlins, batting at .264. The Expos made a roster move right before the ball game that affects the pitching staff. That pitch is high, and Pedro's behind 2-0. The Expos have disabled Jeff Fassero, who has a muscle pull, and they have brought up left-hander Gabe White from Ottawa. White will work out of the Expos bullpen. 3-0 the count on Carr. Since the All-Star break, Carr has just batted .200. But he draws a walk here to lead off the ball game. So Martinez, after watching his team score 3 times, comes out and walks Chuck Carr. Carr has 30 stolen bases.
Number 14, Jerry Brown, third base.
Larry Walker giving a pep talk to Pedro Martinez as far as throwing strikes. And with Chuck Carr aboard, one of the speedier runners in this league, Carr led the league in stealing bases last year.
Carr had 58 stolen bases last year. He is 4th in the league going into the games today with 30. Draws the throw at first base and is back safely. With Jerry Brown up here, a veteran, a .282 batting average. The Expos have the third baseman Barry playing in, Cordero and Bell at double play depth. Jerry Brown takes a strike. He has carved out a pretty good career, Ken, as a result of his versatility.
Tonight playing at third base, we've seen him at second, all over the outfield.
Pedro stepping off. Got a rise out of the crowd. Jerry Brown's played for Texas, Cleveland, Oakland, and now Florida.
The last time we saw Jerry Brown, he was the leadoff man. Chuck Carr was batting in the 8th spot in the order. Brown was hot. He has cooled off somewhat. Carr's back in the leadoff spot.
Close play at first base. Carr does not have the on-base percentage you'd like to see a leadoff hitter have.
But nowhere near it. In fact, the Marlins want him to work on that. Only .304 on-base percentage coming into the game. You know, you would like to see a leadoff man up around 370, 375, or maybe getting up to Brett Butler territory, which is over 40%. And that's what Chuck Carr says he wants to do. He wants to be more like Brett Butler. But he swings the bat too much. He does not usually bunt his way on very often, and consequently hits the ball in the air too much.
Pedro Martinez giving Chuck Carr a lot of attention. Pedro has a 3-0 lead here in the first inning. You would think that he really needs to work on his pitching right now.
Yeah, it's the second night in a row that Larry Walker's tried to listen in on a conversation between a base runner and Beta Pinson.
Larry Walker, the erstwhile eavesdropping Expos first baseman. Jerry Brown up, Gary Sheffield on deck. Everybody has relaxed here with Brown stepping out as Martinez stepped off. The fans are getting impatient with Pedro. Sails that one way outside.
You know, with a 3-0 lead, the idea is to get the ball over the plate. Now, I know Chuck Carr can create a lot of havoc at first, but you don't want to get Jerry Brown on base because Sheffield's up next, and with one swing of the bat, he can tie the game.
There goes Carr. The pitch is inside, and the throw is late. So all of that, Carr still stole the base easily, number 31. And now Pedro's behind 2-1 on the hitter.
Now, no matter how many times you throw over to get a guy like Chuck Carr, just about everything else has to be perfect to throw the speedier runners out, the better base stealers. You could see that the pitch was low and inside, a tough pitch for Fletcher to throw on, and to go down and get the ball, then come up and throw. That takes time to do, and Chuck Carr made it easily.
So Pedro Martinez having control problems here in this first inning. Over his last 7 starts leading into this game, Pedro has won 2, lost 2. He's had 3 no decisions and has really been very mediocre. Lifts a high fly ball for Grissom. Carr's going to tag up. There's the catch. Here comes the throw. That throw put the brakes on Chuck Carr as Grissom threw a perfect one-hopper to Berry at third base.
Well, that's how you get a Gold Glove. That's part of it, being able to field your position and throw the ball. Chuck Carr was tagged up, thinking about going to third, and then Grissom put this kind of throw on the bag. And Chuck Carr went about a third of the way and then reversed the engines.
Now 1 out, Gary Sheffield up. Good play by Grissom. He did a great job of getting himself in the position to make the catch and then the throw accurately to third base. Sheffield hitting .270, leading the team with 22 home runs. He has 61 RBIs. Sheffield won a batting championship a couple of years ago, the '92 season, while at San Diego.
He's been kind of quiet on this homestand, 1 for 18. And the Marlins have not won a game on this homestand. Oof.
That was a home run swing. And also your basic first inning, let's get loose swing. 1 down, Carr at second. The Expos up 3-0. Ball is fouled out of play right side. 0-2.
Sheffield is a good low fastball hitter, one of the best in the league. And you might look for Pedro or Fletcher to try and call for a fastball that's kind of up. I mean about belt high, and try and pass him upstairs.
0-2 pitch missed. Changeup.
Now that might set up the high fastball.
Pedro Martinez is a 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, changeup. He needs to have all 3 going to be really effective. Way outside, knocked down by Fletcher. Good job by Fletcher to keep Carr at second base.
Here's the pitch, the breaking ball, and it's in the dirt. You can see Fletch shift the feet, first of all, to try and get his body in front of it. Got a little leather on it and did a good job of keeping Carr at second base.
Fletcher out again to talk to Pedro Martinez. The catcher is really working hard trying to get Pedro into a good rhythm, into the strike zone consistently with good stuff, because Pedro Martinez has a problem here in the first, and he's all over with his pitches.
Now, there's a reason why teams score most of their runs in the first inning. The first inning is one of the better scoring innings for all teams in baseball, because pitchers don't get set. They don't get their rhythm coming out of the bullpen. Also, a manager has his lineup set to have his batting order the way he wants it in the first inning.
A pickoff attempt into center field. That moves Carr over. So now we know that Pedro had also missed a pickoff sign. They thought they could get Chuck Carr. That would have been a close play. I don't think they would have had Carr, but Pedro throws the ball away.
No, watch the move here by Pedro Martinez. Now Chuck Carr's already moving back to the bag, so you're not going to pick him off. I think he sensed that Juan Bell was coming in behind him, and maybe got the yell from third base coach Cookie Rojas as well.
Pedro Martinez has made his 4th error of the year, and the Marlins have a runner at third base with Sheffield up here, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and now Cordero will come in to try to talk to Pedro Martinez. So the 22-year-old shortstop comes in to settle down the 23-year-old pitcher. Carr over at third and 1 out. I think right now, I'm just guessing, that Will Cordero would have gone in and told Pedro to forget all about Chuck Carr. Pitch as though there's 2 outs and nobody on, and just get Sheffield. A high pop fly to left. Rondell White is under it. He's got it. Carr will score, and the Marlins are on the scoreboard.
Well, if there's any weakness in the game of Rondell White, it has to be his throwing. He does not have a strong throwing arm. Now, this might have been a lot closer if Moises Alou was in left field, but Chuck Carr has great speed and makes it easily in the home plate.
2 down, Jeff Conine, the batter. Ball 1 to Conine, who's hitting .323. He is 8th in the National League with that batting average. Late on that pitch.
Ooh.
1 ball, 1 strike. Conine's hit 17 home runs, and he leads the Marlins with 74 RBIs.
Well, the Marlins have scored a run without a hit here as we check out Jeff Conine, and he is a very good hitter. Hits the ball well to all fields. Has hit 5 more home runs this year than he hit all of last year in his rookie season.
Two and 2 on Conine. 3-1 Expos here in the first. The Marlins are wrapping up a 6-game homestand tonight. Conine goes down on strikes. Back to that point in a moment. 1 run without a hit. There was an error. Nobody left. 20 pitches by Pedro. He leads by 2. We head to the second.
As one goes forth to unearth new treasures, one mustn't let primordial perspiration mess with one's style. Consider this discovery. Right Guard, Pure Power, Clear Gel, Antiperspirant. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff. After all, when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard, Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Imagine adhesives so strong they help hold together 100 tons of soaring transportation. Imagine a fabric so bright it lets you see an accident in time to prevent it. Imagine a single disc so powerful it can store everything imaginable and protect it for a lifetime. These products and thousands more that make our lives better exist because the people at 3M imagine.
Expos Baseball on TSN, brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi.
From Joe Robbie Stadium, Dave Van Horn along with Ken Singleton. 3-1 Expos into the second, and here's a look at David Weathers.
David Weathers trying to get through the second inning better than he did the first. You go to his last start, it was a loss against the Philadelphia Phillies. 6 innings, 4 hits, a couple of runs. Only one was earned. He walked 4 and struck out 4. The Marlins lost that game 8-1. When Weathers left the game, he was down only 2-1. So the Marlins ensured that he would lose that one by giving up 6 more runs. You have to go all the way back to, let's see here, the 7th, or make that the 8th of July. And that's when he last won a ball game, as he beat the Colorado Rockies 5-2.
Bell, second base.
Juan Bell to lead it off for the Expos, then Pedro, and then Marquise Grissom. 1 strike on Juan Bell, filling in for Mike Lansing. Bell, a 26-year-old veteran, younger brother of George Bell. Juan had kicked around and had just about exhausted his major league opportunities, playing with Baltimore, Philadelphia, Milwaukee. Was looking for a job. Got one with the Expos. The Expos felt, and so did Bell, feel that he would respond well to the organization, and in particular to Felipe Alou. So Bell has served as a utility player for the club. Colburn has it go under his glove, and then Barbary backed up the play, but too late to make a throw, and Bell is aboard.
Well, the pitch was a low inside slider, and Juan Bell turns on it and almost gets it through the hole. You can see Colburn kind of an in-between hop. He can't get it. Barbary expecting Colburn to put leather on it, has the ball upon him off the heel of his glove, and Bell gets an infield hit.
Pedro Martinez, the batter. Squares to bunt early, bunts the ball foul off to the right side. Ken, do you have any thoughts on that? There are some baseball people that don't like to see hitters square early to bunt, others who think that it's not a problem.
I think that, first of all, with the pitcher up, defensively, the infield knows he's going to bunt. So why not have him get set and comfortable as possible? Because the whole ballpark, not only the infield, knows that he's going to bunt, just about everybody at home, too.
There's a ball bunted in the air. Colbrin with the play. Pedro Martinez failed to get the bunt down and fouled out to the first baseman, Greg Colbrin. One away. Bell still at first base. Pedro slams the bat down and the helmet.
Well, he knows he missed a chance to help himself out and move a runner into scoring position. Here's the ball popped up. He didn't particularly bunt the first one well either, so he was 0 for 2 on bunting attempts.
Marquise Grissom beat out an infield hit in the first inning. Last night, Marquise hit the longest home run of his career. There's a pop-up foul out of play to the right. He hit a 435-foot home run. He hit it to deep left field off the facade of the upper deck here at Joe Robbie Stadium.
Yeah, that home run came on a hanging curveball from Mark Gardner.
1 ball and 1 strike, the count on Marquise Grissom. Bell drawing the throw at first base. The Expos with 64 wins, 34 of them on the road. That's the facade of the upper deck, and Grissom hit his home run off that facade. Base hit here out into right center. Bell is on his way to third. Carr gets it back in, and Grissom's 2 for 2. Expos are at first and third. That's the 6th hit allowed by David Weathers.
Yeah, things continue to be stormy here in the second inning for Weathers. A line drive off the bat of Grissom will send Bell to third easy as Chuck Carr has to go to his left to come up with it. And the Expos have yet another scoring opportunity here in the second inning.
Cliff Floyd, the batter. He beat out an infield hit in the first, due in part because David Weathers failed to break quickly to cover at first base. Right now, the failure of Pedro Martinez to get the bunt down has cost a run. Ball 1 and no strikes to Floyd.
Well, first and third opportunity, but Cliff Floyd does not hit into too many double plays. First of all, he has pretty good speed.
Floyd tried to check on that off-speed pitch, went around on it.
And a lot of times in these situations, when Grissom is aboard, he'll take the double play away by stealing second base. You can see the check swing by Cliff way out in front, fooled on an off-speed pitch. And the count evens at a ball and a strike.
That's chopped foul. Ken, why is it with many young hitters like Cliff Floyd, who hit for power in the minor leagues, put up very impressive home run numbers, they come to the major leagues, and for a while you don't see that power? Now, we're seeing good play from Cliff Floyd, but we're not seeing the kind of power in the home run department, certainly, that he displayed in the minors.
The pitchers have better control in the major leagues. They hit the corners more consistently. They can fool young hitters by changing speeds more often and hitting the spots.
So what will happen to those pitchers to make Felipe Alou's prediction that Floyd will show his power in his second and third year?
He starts to learn the pitchers better. He knows what to expect. He gets more confidence in his own abilities as he goes along. And I think he only has 3 home runs this year, but you'll see that improve dramatically next season.
Here's a bouncer to the left side. Abbott gives to Barbary for 1. Over to first, not in time. The run scores, and the Expos have a 4-1 lead. Again, because of the speed of this ball club, the Marlins are not able to turn a double play.
See, in a lot of hitters, this would be a double play. You can see the sinking fastball chopped towards short. Now, Abbott has to hesitate And Grissom is in on Barbary, and you can see Cliff Floyd well across the bag. The Expos have gotten that run back that the Marlins scored in the bottom half of the first inning. Grissom with the pressure on Barbary, a high throw to first, and Floyd is well across the bag.
Rondell White hit a rocket to center field in the first inning, but Chuck Carr took care of that. Ball 1 to Rondell White. A week ago, he had a big ball game at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Rondell went up against the Dodgers and drove in 7 runs, one short of the Expos club record for RBIs in a game. Santiago scrambling to come up with that pitch and to hold Floyd at first base. Weathers 6'3", 205. Lives in 5 Points, Tennessee.
Where was that?
5 Points, Tennessee.
I said, where was that?
Here's a ball hit off the hip of Weathers. He's down and hurt. The ball is then dropped by Barbary, and Weathers is injured. Larry Starr, the trainer, out there quickly along with the catcher Benito Santiago. A smash back to the mound, and here it is. Watch carefully. There's the smash off the back of the head, a one-hopper, and he was stunned and dazed and hit the ground hard.
Barbary comes up with the ball, holds runners at first and second, but David Weathers is still down on the ground, and the bullpen is busy for the Marlins. One hopper struck sharply by Rondell White, and you can see how far that ball carons into the outfield. Weathers is now sitting up on the mound as Larry Starr checks him out, and certainly a rough 2 innings for David Weathers.
Well, a rather memorable hit for the Expos and for Weathers.
Well, their 7th hit of the ball game tonight as Jeff Mutis begins to warm up for the Marlins. Number 1,000 on the season for the Expos. There's only 2 other teams in the league that have reached the 1,000 mark in hits. The Padres, and you would think Tony Gwynn has most of them, and the Cincinnati Reds, who are leading the league in hitting. And now the Expos have made it a trio in the 1,000 hit category. Weathers still kind of groggy as he gets up, and he says he's all right. So knocked down, but not knocked out of the ball game, and he gets a round of applause from the fans here at Joe Robbie Stadium as he's going to try and continue.
David Weathers telling his manager Marcel Latchman and trainer Larry Starr that he is okay and he'll stay in this ball game.
You know, one thing when you throw the ball, you have to be in good fielding position. You can see Weathers' reactions just to turn his back. Now, he was facing the play. He saw the ball coming. He just couldn't get out of the way. And a lot of times on your follow through, you're supposed to come through and kind of plant and be set with your glove and have it up near your head in case there's a line drive back through the middle. Weathers decided to turn and got it on the back of the head.
Larry Walker doubled in the first inning. He now leads the National League with 39 doubles. Ball 1. Rondell White at first base, Cliff Floyd at second base. The Expos are up 4-1 here in the second. 1-1. I don't know if it has anything to do with the change of positions. I would think not, Ken. Probably just one of those baseball phenomenals. But Larry Walker has really picked it up with the bat since moving to first base. Base hit to left. At third base, Cliff Floyd is waved. The throw to third does not get Rondell White. The Expos lead 5-1 on Walker's single to right field.
Well, Larry Walker had a good at-bat his first time and has another one here. A line shot that had kind of overspin on it as it drops in front of Sheffield. The Expos have picked up another run, and Rondell White's speed sends him all the way to third. You know, the Expos now with 8 hits in the ball game. Rene Latchman, the manager, back out to the mound. The bullpen is busy again as we watch Sheffield's throw. And one point I'd like to make, and I think I've made it a couple of times during the year, there's going to be a pitching change here, as Latchman will go to the bullpen, and that's going to be it for Weathers. And maybe I'll wait till Mutis comes in, and I'll make the point after he warms up.
David Weathers not able to get out of this second inning. Has worked an inning and 2/3. And Weathers has to leave this ball game.
Your attention, please.
He had a start 2 starts ago at Cincinnati, July 20th. He only went an inning and 2/3, gave up 5 runs on 5 hits. He has given up 5 runs on 8 hits here to the Expos and has to leave. So David Weathers out of the game. This pitching change is brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Quaker State, the intelligent oil, actually senses changes in driving conditions and adjusts its molecular structure to protect your engine from the damage caused by overheating. Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Left-hander Jeff Mutis comes into the game here in the second inning. The Expos are up 5-1, and the Marlins are into the bullpen.
Mutis came on in the first game of this series. You can see his earned run average at 5.66. Rene Latchman called upon him in the 7th inning of the opening game of the series to face 2 left-handed hitters, and both left-handers got a hit. Cliff Floyd and Larry Walker, and Mutis was out of the ball game, and then those 2 runners scored, so he was charged with 2 runs and didn't get anybody out on Friday night when the Expos were winning 8-4 over the Marlins. So he's got a second chance at it here on Sunday night.
We're talking about Larry Walker and the move to first base. And Hurricane Bob Mann has worked it up for us. And since moving to first base, Larry Walker has batted .353. He's 36 for 102.
Yeah, Larry joked about it. He said, well, the run to the dugout after the innings are over is a lot shorter.
Fletcher hitting the ball foul down the right field line and almost came up with another double. He will have to come up with another bat.
Looked like a breaking ball on the inner half, and maybe he hits it on the end of the bat and shatters it that way. Either you break a bat by hitting it off the end and causing too much tension for the bat to take, or you get jammed and the handle disintegrates.
Fletch snapped it 0 for 15 with the 2-run double in the first inning. Out in front here, swung and missed. 0-2.
Dave, I was going to make a point about the Expos and their hitting. They have 8 hits in the ball game, and it's only the second inning. Now, when the Expos get 10 hits in a full game, they are 44-9. 44 wins against 9 losses when they get 10 hits in a game. And I think the Expos, with their ball club and their overall team speed, can do more with 10 hits than some teams can do with 15 hits. Because their runners can constantly go first to third, score from first on extra base hits. They can run themselves into scoring position by stealing bases. They lead the league in that. So that's why they can do so much more with 10 hits than some teams can do with 12 and 15. I think that's one of the keys to their offense. If they get 10 hits, it's just about in the bag.
Of course, that comes under that heading of speed, team speed. There goes Walker, and Fletcher goes down on strikes, and that's it for the Expos. Mutis strikes out Darren Fletcher. The Expos got 2 here in the second and have a 5-1 lead after an inning and a half.
Now you can make your choices, going your own way. An extra long-lasting flavor, the great taste goes a long, long way. Your choice is up to you. Great taste and sugar-free too. Extra long-lasting flavor, the way that you want it to be. The flavor goes on and on.
Sugar-free extra won't cause cavities, and the flavor lasts extra long. thanks. I've got to finish this song.
Baby, you're so honey. Honey, you're so nutty. 'Cause honey, you're so nutty.
Hey, the taste of honey and nuts.
We're gonna tempt you, Tommy, with the taste of nuts and honey. It's a honey oven, oh. It's honey nut Cheerios.
Before we get back to Florida, let's show you what's going on in Colorado, San Francisco, and Matt Williams with another great day. Now, Williams has been great all year. This is his second home run of the game and 40th of the season. But since Darryl Strawberry joined the team, Williams hitting .311, 10 home runs, 22 RBIs.
Well, that's great production from Matt Williams. And the San Francisco Giants are leading the Rockies 6-4 in the middle innings of that game. Strawberry's also homered. Here's a look at Pedro Martinez.
Well, the scouting report, his last start came against the Atlanta Braves, and Pedro picked up the win. That was the game in which Moises Alou drove in the go-ahead runs with a triple and put the Expos in the lead in that opening game of the series against Atlanta. The Expos also won the next night before dropping the finale of that series. You saw the numbers on Pedro, and the runs came just at the right time because Pedro was out of the ball game. The bullpen picked him up and held on to the win for him.
By the way, speaking of home runs, one of the other big boys hit one today. Jeff Bagwell hit his 36th home run of the season for the Houston Astros. That so far is the only run that Houston has scored against the Dodgers. Dodgers have a 7-1 lead on Houston in the 9th inning out in Los Angeles. Pedro up against Colbrin, Santiago, and Abbott here in the second. And the Expos up 5-1. Greg Colbrin, the former Expo, has been on the DL twice this year. Manager Felipe Alou liking what he's seen so far, but I am sure that he is still concerned about Pedro Martinez, and he and Joe Kerrigan will watch him closely here. Colbrin's had knee surgery this year. He's been out with a rib cage muscle pull 7 times on the DL since '91. Of course, he underwent the elbow tendon transplant surgery a few years ago while with the Expos. He played for Montreal in '92 and '93. Former catcher chops the ball toward first, and Pedro up with it and kind of jogs along with Colbrin and then tags him out.
Looked like he was trying to hand him the ball, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked like a relay.
Sort of a goodwill tag.
Thank you, Ted. Benito Santiago, the batter. The Marlins catcher. Chops one toward third, foul. They are grooming Charles Johnson in their farm system to come up and be the #1 catcher. Looks like this will be the last year for Santiago with the Marlins, and he's talking about playing for a long time now. Last year and at times during the winter he talked about quitting and retiring from baseball. Now Benito has enjoyed a new lease on life. He's doing a pretty good job. 9 home runs, 36 RBIs, batting .266. And now he's talking about playing for years, so he'll be one of those players looking for a new deal come this winter, if there are new deals being handed out.
Yeah, we should hope so. One thing is defense has picked up this year. He's thrown out runners at a 38% clip, which is certainly better than he did last year. He was down under 30%.
Don't you think he was a very lethargic player last year?
Well, he came out and you know, he's been accused of that in the past. We're talking about Santiago, and that his mechanics behind the plate aren't what they should be, that he's more concerned with throwing people out and picking them off than he is with actually catching the ball, which is the most important thing when you're catching. You can't throw anybody out if you don't have the ball in your hand.
Pedro sailing that one outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Santiago up here, and Kurt Abbott, the shortstop, is on deck. Santiago reached out to pull one. Cordero takes care of it and throws Benito out at first base. 2 down in the second.
Good play by Cordero, throwing on the run, scooping and throwing, and that's one thing he's picked up with his hitting, his fielding. We've seen more of the spectacular play from Will Cordero this year. The shadows are gone.
But we don't want to alarm anyone. The sun is still out there. It's just behind some clouds right now. Kurt Abbott hitting .248, 9 home runs for the shortstop, 31 runs batted in. Last year, in their expansion year, the Marlins went with Walt Weiss, the veteran at short. They made a deal with the Angels. Abbott is over here. Looks like he'll be here for a long time to come. The off-speed pitch, a big weapon for Pedro Martinez, and he got Abbott there to chase it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Abbott's certainly showing more power than Walt Weiss, who was here last year. But Weiss certainly the better glove man of the two, but more production from the shortstop position for the Marlins this season.
Abbott chased that, and a quick and easy inning here for Pedro Martinez. So Felipe Alou, I'm sure, feels a lot better about his starting pitcher right now. The end of 2, 5-1 Montreal.
When you think about fresh taste, you think about foods like bread, fruits and vegetables, fresh eggs. But you probably don't know how important freshness is to the taste of your Diet Cola. Diet Pepsi introduces fresh taste dating, a date stamped on every Diet Pepsi that guarantees the taste you love will be at its absolute best. Fresh taste dating from Diet Pepsi.
Hard to tell. Could be any pickup. But how many compact pickups hold this much? Have a bed with 2-tier loading and a tailgate this easy to deal with. You could say it's the most intelligent pickup of its kind. Except there doesn't appear to be another pickup of its kind. The Chevy S-Series. So new, from the inside out, everything else is history.
Well, the Expos since the All-Star break, winning 10 out of 15. Good team batting average, good pitching.
It's your basic 2 out of every 3. And they've been doing that, or better than that, since April the 19th. The club has started out 4-9 this year and fell 8.5 games behind the Atlanta Braves. So they have made up ground big time since April the 19th.
Ron McLean attending to Cliff Floyd and the other Expos. The trainers in this kind of heat keep a great big bucket, that's it, of ammonia water out there in the dugout to refresh the players between innings. Will Cordero up, struck out his first time, then Berry and Bell. The Expos go home after this series with the Marlins, which ends tonight. They'll play 4 with the St. Louis Cardinals starting tomorrow night at Olympic Stadium. Then they're on the road again. So if indeed there is a stoppage of play, the Expos would finish up games on the 11th at Pittsburgh. The first game that would be lost to a players' strike would be the game of August 12th, where the Expos are slated to play the Mets at home. Now this, whether it's going to be significant or not, remains to be seen, but the Expos have 29 home dates remaining, starting with that game scheduled for the 12th of August.
A chance to really, they've played most of their games on the road this season. And they've really done well on the road. That's shown how the club has improved over last year. Although they won 94 games last year, they only won 39 on the road. They had a losing record away from the Big O. So that's where they feel more comfortable. And they haven't had a chance to play that much at the Big O in the first part of the season. So 29 home dates would be thrown out of the window, if you will, if there is indeed a strike.
The Expos are playing their 54th road game of the season tonight. That's 54 on the road. They've only played 48 at home. Cordero has a walk to open up the third inning.
You know, David, it's interesting to watch Will Cordero because I think he typifies the Expos on the road and how they have matured as a ball club. Cordero himself is hitting close to .330 on the road. Now that means he's hitting a lot less at home. He's hitting about .270, but his production RBIs wise is about the same. So the fact is that he is getting more opportunities for the other players, getting on base a lot more often on the road, although he is driving in about the same amount of runs at home and on the road. And also I feel that the Big O is not the home run park that the Expos see while they're traveling around the National League, and most of the players on the team have hit more homers on the road, including Cordero.
Ball 1 to Sean Berry. Berry, who since the 6th of July has batted over .340, was called out on strikes his first time up. The Expos have a 5-1 lead here in the third. There's a drive toward left center. That's going to drop in. Chuck Carr picks it up. Cordero's on his way to third. He'll make it. And again, the Expos' ability to go from first to third is apparent here, and a scoring opportunity with the bottom part of the batting order.
On less speedier teams, the runner would have automatically held at second base, and the ball hit the left center with the center fielder coming over and getting in position to throw the ball. Will Cordero has decided he's going to third, and Chuck Carr throws the ball into second. Now team speed once again, and Berry at first. He can run as well.
Juan Bell beat out an infield hit in the second inning. Strike one. Pitcher Pedro Martinez will be at the on-deck circle in a moment.
Bell has not had many at-bats batting right-handed. He's a switch hitter, but Felipe likes to use him occasionally against the righties, and with Lansing out tonight, he's in there.
He's had just 14 at-bats right-handed. Foul ball to the seats.
See, this is an important hitter right here, although he's down in the count 0-2, because with nobody out, if Bell can drive in a run, or if he makes it out, that'll give one out and Pedro Martinez up to play to, you know, not the worst hitter in the lineup.
Bell hits it on the ground, and Abbott can't make a play. The Expos score a run, and Berry's safe at second. Abbott ranging far to his left to come up with that ball. Once he did, he just kind of in desperation flipped it up into the air and hoped he would get an out. He didn't.
Well, the pressure is on with Berry headed towards second base at a good clip. You can see him trying to throw as he's diving to his left after coming up with the ball, and it just didn't work. Well, the Expos also have an opportunity for more with Martinez coming up to the plate, and a chance to sacrifice. You can see the play as he misses Barbary with the throw.
The Expos are up 6-1. Ten hits now for the Expos. Martinez bunts the ball third base side. Mutis throws to first for the out.
Well, this time Pedro gets the job done. 1-4 on the sacrifice, and the Expos have moved runners into scoring position with one out. So Pedro feeling a lot better this time than he did last inning when he fouled out to the first baseman.
Well, the Expos have hit that 10-hit marker again and lead 6-1, and Marquise Grissom is up looking for his third hit. Here's the starter.
Not much of a night for David Weathers. 1 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned. No walks, 2 strikeouts, 49 pitches in an inning and 2/3, and a bump on the head as well.
Grissom getting the intentional walk. The bases will be full for the rookie Cliff Floyd, who will come up with one out.
Now all of this started with a leadoff walk to Will Cordero, and that kind of opened the door for the Expos, and they have stepped through for 1 run this inning, and they have a chance for more with Floyd coming to the plate.
Second walk given up by Mutis, and the first intentional walk. Floyd's 1 for 2 and has scored 2 runs. Inside, ball 1. Richie Lewis is the right-hander who is up in the bullpen. Strike 1 to Floyd.
Well, Dave, right here early in the ball game, we have the makings of a very long game because the Expos have continually put runners on base. The bullpen's been up for the Marlins a couple of times. And the Expos have to play the Cardinals tomorrow night. They're going to get back to Montreal very early in the morning at this pace. But not to say they're not having fun doing it. I mean, if you're going to stay up late, you might as well have fun, right?
In other words, they're not playing a typical getaway game.
No.
They're in no hurry. Bases are full here for Floyd. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Mutis faced Floyd the other night on Friday night, and Cliff lined a single to right field off of him.
Here he bloops the ball into the seats, foul to the left. Mutis is working hard in this inning. It started out with the walk, then a couple of hits, a sacrifice bunt, another walk. Off the fist foul, off the end of the Marlin dugout and down the right field line.
Now, we've talked about Cliff Floyd being a young hitter in this league, but last year he was a tremendous run producer in the minors. And this year he's hitting .353 with runners in scoring position.
Takes that pitch inside.
So for the most part, he has not lost the ability to drive in the runs. Now, the one thing that is lacking this year, we mentioned the home runs, and that's why he doesn't have the overwhelming power numbers. But he still has done a good job with runners in scoring position.
Floyd hits the ball on the ground here. Barbary gives to Abbott for 1. The throw to first is in time. And the Marlins this time turn the double play. 4-6-3. So Cliff Floyd wraps into the double play. The Expos get 1 run out of it and have a 6-1 lead going to the bottom of the 3rd.
115 years of tradition. 1 distinctive recipe. 0 preservatives. Too smooth for words. 1 Canadian brewery. 5% alcohol. Equals 1 good beer. Is all we do, because this bud's for you.
You can't always hear an exhaust problem. Even a hole this size in your exhaust system can seriously affect your car's performance. Come to Midas for a fast, free inspection of your exhaust. Trust your exhaust to Midas.
You just spray it on. You just spray it on. New Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner from Armorall. Just spray it on, and then just spray it off. That's it? That's it. Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner.
Here's a look at how the Expos have done overall against the 3 divisions. Within their own division, 4 games over. And a chance to go 5 tonight. They lead 6-1 against the Central, 8 over. And against the West, a record of 28-14. That includes their perfect 12-0 record against the San Diego Padres. The Expos swept the season series from the Padres. Only the 2nd National League team to do so in this century, the other being the Braves last year when they swept the Colorado Rockies in the season series. On the left, the disabled pitcher, Jeff Pissarro. And charting tonight's ball game, Kirk Reeder. So the left-handers are hanging out together tonight. Reeder did not get a decision in last night's game. He was the starter. The Expos won 7-3. Tim Scott got the win working out of the bullpen. Brett Barbary up. Then Mutis, the pitcher. And then Carr, the leadoff hitter. Ball one to Barbary, a switch hitter with the Expos in 91 and 92. To the Padres in the expansion draft. Brett hitting .289, takes a ball. 2-0. Wanted to mention that double play that Floyd hit into, only because it's just the third time this year that Floyd has hit into a double play. He is ranked among the toughest batters in the league to induce to hit into the ground ball double play. There's Cliff Floyd out in right field. Barbary chops the ball, sending Bell to the hole. He spins around and throws and gets Barbary.
Good play by Bell going to his left and into short right field as he does the 360 and throws on to first base. Pedro Martinez seems to have settled down since that first inning when he really couldn't get his bearings and allowed a run without a hit.
Jeff Mutis, the batter, hits it foul out of play to the left. The Marlins are wrapping up a homestand with this game, a 6-game homestand. They lost the first 3 to the Phillies. They're in danger of losing 3 straight to the Expos. So they could wind up being swept at home. Foul ball.
Some people might say pick your seasoning. The fish are done. At least on his homestand.
Bouncer to the right side. Walker up with this. Gives to Martinez, covering for out number 2. Fans following the ball game will select the player of the game for the Expos on behalf of Obis Form, the back care experts. The Obis Form backrest support is made for people that sit. It's lightweight, portable, and offers comfort and relief from back pain. Available at Shoppers Drug Mart, Eaton's, and Canadian Tire. A cash donation will be made to the Canadian Special Olympics on behalf of that player and Obis Form. Speaking of fish, Billy the Marlin. This has popped up and Bell has called for it, and that's it for Carr and the Marlins. They've gone in order in the third. The Expos have a 6-1 lead here in Miami. You're watching Expos baseball on TSN.
This sports update is brought to you by Castrol, the manufacturers of Castrol GTX, the oil engineered for today's harder working engines.
Well, what the Montreal Expos are doing augurs very well considering what happened earlier on today. The Atlanta Braves, no problem at all against the Philadelphia Phillies. They were 9-5 winners. Top of the second here, Phillies trailing 2-1. Mickey Morandini, who had a great day, went 4 for 4, scored a couple of runs. Phillies up 3-2. Bottom of the fourth, 5-all game. Jeff Blauser with a single, and the Braves take the lead. They go on to win it by a score of 9-5. Blauser had 3 hits. At one time, the Phillies had a 5-2 lead, but that was squandered. Atlanta 3 back of Montreal.
As your engine revs higher, the oil inside creates a hydrodynamic wedge, a protective layer that builds up and keeps engine parts separated. But as your oil's viscosity breaks down, so can the wedge. That's why Castrol GTX provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. Because if your viscosity breaks down, what's next? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's harder working engines.
Look for Castrol's free oil filter offer at these and other leading outlets.
Well, rumors everywhere, and nary a fact to be found. The Major League trading deadline is midnight Eastern time tonight. Big hot rumor is that the California Angels are trying to pick up Rick Aguilera from Minnesota. However, the asking price apparently J.T. Snow or Brian Anderson. They're still hammering out the details.
All right, we're back in Miami, and we don't have any hot trading deadline rumors, do we?
None at all. The Expos have been going along quite well of late.
As a matter of fact, the general managers that you and I have talked to, and in the case of the Expos director player personnel Kevin Malone, a lot of people have been talking, phones are ringing, but everyone is very reluctant because of the questionable future of the game right now. And I mean, not just the fact that a strike date has been set and there's a possible work stoppage, but also what will the new agreement look like? What will it entail? So what happens now when you take on a big contract, a big multi-year contract? There are a lot of question marks now, and teams are reluctant to make any kind of a major deal or transaction. Rondell White, Larry Walker, and Darren Fletcher. Jeff Mutis in relief, Rondell chasing, 0-2 the count. Sunday night baseball coming to you on TSN from Miami, Florida, Joe Robbie Stadium, where they play the late Sunday games. It is cooking during the day here. I mean, it's warm at night, but had this been an afternoon game, down on the field, the temperature probably would have been right around 100 degrees.
And I'm not so sure they would have gotten as big a crowd as they have right now.
That's the key.
Yep. Mutis with some good late movement on this pitch. Maybe it was a backup slider, who knows, but he struck out Rondell White with it.
On the left in the blue shirt and the glasses, Claude Brochu, and then on the right with the pencil in his hand and of course the mustache and the brush cut, Kevin Malone, director of player personnel. Larry Walker up here has doubled and singled and is now hitting .315. A strike to Walker. Colbrin to Mutis covering. 2 down. Of course, and I'm sure, Ken, that you can speak from experience to us on this note, but Bobby Bonilla trying to point out to everyone that will listen to him that the players who make the most stand to lose the most monetarily when they go on strike.
Oh, Bobby, what is he the highest paid player in baseball this year?
He would lose $31,148 per day.
Yes. You ask some of the ball clubs how much they're going to lose a day. You know, it works both ways. The teams are going to lose a lot too, so there's going to be a lot lost on both sides.
Collectively, and I hope I don't misspeak this figure, but collectively, I believe it is $4 or $5 million a day that the teams will lose. The 28 Major League Baseball teams. Three and 1 the count on Darren Fletcher. Now, of course, not all of the players are making that kind of money. There are a lot of players making the minimum, which is $109,000 a year. Fletcher draws a walk with 2 outs here. And so while Bonilla would lose over $31,000 a day, a player making the minimum would lose $596 a day. Mutis has thrown 40 pitches now since coming on in relief in the second for the starter David Weathers. Will Cordero to bat, has struck out, walked, and scored. Ball 1 to Cordero. Cordero gives this a ride to center. Carr is there. Darren Fletcher is left. We've played 3.5 innings at Joe Robbie Stadium. The Expos have a 6-1 lead.
As one goes forth to unearth new treasures, one mustn't let primordial perspiration mess with one's style. Consider this discovery. Right guard, pure power, clear gel, antiperspirant. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff. After all, when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right guard, clear gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Auto glass replacement is a game for pros. The windshield in your car is part of the body structure. It must be fixed properly. Don't take a chance. Take it to the pros at Speedy Auto Glass.
At Speedy we care.
Summertime fun, need refreshment. Yeah! Summertime fun, need refreshment.
Introducing new frozen concentrated iced tea from McCain. Refreshing, thirst-quenching beverage made with the essence of unique tea blends. McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. Just the clean, fresh-tasting flavor of McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. McCain, great-tasting refreshment down to a T.
Every 4 years, the world's best athletes unite to compete for the goodwill of sport. Highlights of the 1994 Goodwill Games from St. Petersburg, Russia continue tonight on Real TV TSN. You're watching Expos Baseball on TSN, the sports network.
Into the 4th inning, the Marlins come to bat. Brown, Sheffield, and Conine. The Jays and the Red Sox tomorrow. Pregame show begins at 4:30. A called strike. Both games of that Jays-Red Sox doubleheader will be seen. 1 ball, 1 strike to Brown. He flied to center in the 1st inning. Boston started the day 13.5 out in the American League East. They lost today. The Yankees won today. Boston's 14.5 out. Foul ball to the right side. Blue Jays won today. They're 15.5 out. 6 games under 500.
Well, meeting head-to-head tomorrow, the Jays could flip-flop and jump over the Red Sox in the standings. Well, the Yankees have really lengthened it out in that Eastern Division. The Orioles started the day 7 games behind.
They're 8 now.
You're saying the Orioles lost today?
Yeah, Toronto beat them 6-4. 2-2 on Jerry Brown. So the Yankees are starting to distance themselves from the rest of the division. Eight games now, and the biggest lead in baseball by far. Brown hits it on the ground to Bell. Ten in a row have been retired by Pedro Martinez since the leadoff walk to open the game in the bottom of the 1st inning. Gary Sheffield flied out to left field in the 1st inning. That sacrifice fly brought Carr home from 3rd base. 6-1 Expos. Sheffield's batting .270. Ball 1.
Now remember, in the first inning, the Marlins scored their run without a hit. They still don't have a hit, as Pedro is settled in.
A ball and a strike.
See, those people missed that. That's the bad hand section over there. That guy, 3 or 4 people had a glove and couldn't come up with the ball.
Well, it's only their second year. Expansion fans.
I like the way they come to the game prepared, though. They've got the gloves ready to go.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Gary Sheffield. The Marlins 45 and 58. Not having the kind of year they expected to have. They've been decimated by injury. Gary Sheffield has been so concerned about the team's inability to win that he went behind closed doors and sat down with general manager David Dombrowski and had a long talk to try to get a handle on the direction the club would be taking. So a veteran player who came over just last year and is signed to this Marlin ball club, wanting to get a feel from the front office about how they view the future.
And one of the reasons they got Sheffield last year is because they had a lack of offensive attack. They were last in the league in run scoring.
So now what happens if Sheffield is not satisfied with the answers that he gets from David Dombrowski?
Well, they're last in scoring runs this year, too.
So what's next for him?
Do they
he
have to go out and
be
get
traded?
I guess that's it.
3-2 the count.
Well, what can the general manager tell him? We're going to go out and sign all the free agents we can, or
Sheffield with a drive to deep left. Way back, Rondell White makes the catch in the left field corner. Big swing by Sheffield. And I think we'll see it here, Ken. Just didn't get enough of the bat on the ball.
Yeah, just off the end of the bat. He had the home run swing at it and the follow through, but this ball did not carry to left field because he didn't get it on the sweet spot.
Jeff Conine struck out his first time up. We're told that David Weathers has a slight concussion and a contusion to the back of his head. He's being kept overnight at Holy Cross Hospital for observation. He's expected to join the team in Chicago. They hit the road after tonight's game. David Weathers was hit on the back of the head by a ball chopped back to the mound by Rondell White. It took one hop off the turf. Weathers turned his back and was struck on the back of the head by the ball. Shortly after left the game. One ball and 2 strikes to Conine. Two and 2. So in this weekend series, we've had 2 players suffer slight concussions. Cliff Floyd last night, David Weathers tonight. Foul ball out of play to the right.
Conine has a streak going. This is his 265th consecutive ball game. And yet another strikeout.
Pedro Martinez gets him in order here in the 4th inning. 6-1 Expos at the end of 4 in Miami.
On average, over 500 homes in Canada are broken into every day. Choose Wiser Locks, Canada's first choice in lock security. Wiser.
Wait, Angela will know. She's an expert. Hi, what shade of lipstick is this? Looks like wild berries. Revlon. And this? She she's not a real blonde. Limage, 805 would be my guess. And what do you smell? Vanderbilt. And I'm wearing? L'air de temps. Thanks, Angela. I owe you one.
Expert advice. It's everything you want in a cosmetician.
You just spray it on. You just spray it on. New Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner from Armor All. Just spray it on, and then just spray it off. That's it? That's it. Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner.
Mazda Protege could well be the best value on the road today, especially now. Get air conditioning or equivalent value credit or lease from $199 per month. Mazda Protege at your Mazda dealers right now.
Now, protect your home and family with this free home security video from Wiser Lock. Learn about securing doors, windows, locks, and installation. Just pay $2.93 shipping and handling. Send your name, address, and check to Wiser Lock.
Into the fifth inning here. Now, if the playoffs were held based on the way the standings are now, the Dodgers would be going up against the Expos. The Reds would be going up against the Atlanta Braves. As it is this year, Central and West Division teams have the home field advantage in the division series. So the first two games between the Expos and the Dodgers would be played in Montreal, and then the next three in Los Angeles. And we talked about this the past few nights, and it seems like each time we check a source we get a different scenario, but we have double checked this. In the National League this year, the Central and West Division teams have a home advantage in the division series. The wild card has to play away. Pitch is low and outside. So Atlanta would go up against Cincinnati. And the Dodgers and the Expos. And again, it would be games 1 and 2 would be in Montreal. Berry goes down on strikes. 1 out in the fifth. Juan Bell will bat, then Pedro Martinez. In the American League, it is the East and Central Division winners that have home advantage this year. This first year of the wild card playoff format with a division series and a league championship series. Juan Bell 2 out of 2 tonight. Very quickly, 0-2 the count. The Central Division leading Cincinnati Reds won their ball game. It took 10 innings for Cincinnati to beat San Diego 2-1, and Bell gives it a ride, but foul.
Nice catch by that young fan. Look at that.
Way outside, a ball. 1-2.
How did this get here? I stuck my hand out like that and it fell in it. There's another one of those baseball phenomenals.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Bell thought that was high. He was headed to first. You could see when Mutis delivered the pitch. Let's check this out.
Pitcher, Pedro Martinez.
It might have been a little high.
Yep.
But give Santiago some credit there. He held the ball for the umpire to get a look at. He didn't just snap it down thinking it was a ball. And he got the call from Tom Hallion.
That's 4 strikeouts for Jeff Mutis. A couple of times he's thrown a pitch in this inning, and he may be getting just a little bit tired. He has now worked 3 innings. Pedro tried to bunt in the 2nd inning and popped it foul. He did get down a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd inning. He and the Expos are leading 6-1. They've out-hit the Marlins 10-0. If Pedro gets through the 5th inning and hasn't given up a hit, this game will get pretty interesting, won't it?
It certainly will. It'll take on a whole new meaning. How far can he go?
Pedro hits one in the air to right. Sheffield playing in is under it, and the Expos have gone in order. Nothing across. It's the first time they've gone down 1-2-3. Midway in the 5th, 6-1 Montreal.
Now, to each man who shaves, there's an edge all his own. Only Edge Gel has 7 custom formulas, from extra moisturizing to sensitive skin, for a close, comfortable shave. Ultimate closeness, ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
You want a taste you can't resist? There's no bag chip you can pop like this. Chips and bags got busted pieces. Get your hands on the one that pleases.
The Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't stop.
You got the stack, you got the bunch. For a whole lot of takes of the Pringles crunch. You got the duckbill lizard too. Pringles brings great taste to you.
Pop, the Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't stop.
So can those bag dip Pringles chips? Ain't nothing like Pringles across your lips. Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop.
Clean or what? Super 8 motel rooms are clean. Here are clean, there are clean. Everywhere are clean, clean, and comfortable.
Super 8 motels, 1-800-800-8000. Clean, comfortable, and affordable.
Yeah. Here we go. Yes.
Whoa, what a play. Well, that was the other night in Atlanta. Every once in a while you come up with a good catch. Just like that young fan did. Those look like the various mascots of the Miami sports teams.
Greg Colbran. A called strike on Colbran. He'll be followed by Santiago and Abbott. Colbran bounced out along the first base line, you may recall, back in the 2nd, and Pedro Martinez made the play unassisted, tagging Colbran out. Now Pedro has gone 4 innings, has not allowed a hit. He's thrown 65 pitches now. One ball and 2 strikes. Almost hit that with his hands.
Pedro's mixed in that good fastball along with a changeup and an occasional breaking ball. So we're to the point now where, as you said, Dave, he gets through this 5th inning and to the last third of the ball game with a no intact. Maybe.
Base hit to right center for Colbran. Hit number 1 for the Marlins. Well, Greg Colbran breaks it up, a former Expo.
There goes the suspense. Looked to be a high fastball as Grissom cuts it off into the gap and holds Colbran to a single. The Marlins down by 5 runs, taking no chances on the bases.
Benito Santiago grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd. Double play depth on the Montreal infield. And the ball gets away from Fletcher. Colbran advances to 2nd.
This will be a wild pitch. You can see it in the dirt. Fletcher trying to get in front of it. Gets it off the chest protector, but the ball rolls off to his right, and Colburn goes down to second.
Pedro Martinez throwing his 5th wild pitch of the season. The inning of decision for Martinez. He has a 6-1 lead. Last night, Kirk Reeder had a 3-0 lead. Going into the inning of decision, the 5th, and he gave up 3 runs. The Marlins tied the game, and Reeder had a no decision.
You go back 2 nights ago here. Gil Heredia had a 4-0 lead in the inning of decision, the 5th inning, and the Marlins tied the score 4-4. Heredia went 4 2/3 innings and didn't get the win. Jeff Shaw got the win in relief.
2-1 pitch, chopped by Santiago to third. Berry picks it up and safe at first. Berry's only chance on this play was a bare hand grab. He opted to field the ball with his glove and did not get Santiago.
Charging, he was back deep with a couple of strikes on Santiago. Comes up throwing, makes an accurate throw, which is good, but Santiago runs well for a catcher and picks up the infield hit.
So Marlins are at first and second. They did not have a hit over the first 4 innings and get back-to-back hits here in the 5th. Kurt Abbott struck out his first time up. Abbott, who is 25 years old, takes the breaking pitch. Joe Kerrigan along with Felipe Alou watching Pedro Martinez. Nobody up in the Expos bullpen. Marlins do have Richie Lewis up again in their bullpen.
Pedro,
0-2.
Pedro bearing down now, getting ahead of Abbott. Abbott, first ball fastball hitter, so Pedro got him first pitch in there with a curve. Then comes back with the fastball over the outside corner in a good location for strike 2.
That's all for Abbott, who again went after that changeup. That's 4 strikeouts for Pedro Martinez.
Abbott way out in front of the changeup, and he has now struck out 85 times on the season. That's been somewhat of a problem for the young shortstop.
Martinez now with 128 strikeouts. Barbary lifts this one to Grissom in center. Colburn will hold up. Grissom with another perfect throw to third base. 2 down. Greg O'Halloran is going to pinch hit in this 9th spot of the batting order. So Mutis is out of the game. Lewis will be coming on.
Number 16, Greg O'Halloran.
Kerrigan out to visit. Marlins at first and second. Santiago and Colburn. He's batting .250.
Pros. The windshield in your car is part of the body structure. It must be fixed properly. Don't take a chance. Take it to the pros at Speedy Auto Glass.
At Speedy we care.
Trades and rumors. Major League trading deadline is tonight. The Phillies sending outfielder Milt Thompson to Houston for pitcher Tom Edens. That's confirmed. Cleveland was after pitcher Bob Tewksbury from St. Louis. That deal was nixed, as was a deal. Cincinnati was after pitcher Danny Jackson from the Phillies. Marge Schott nixed that one.
Back here, the Expos will have the top of the order coming up against Richie Lewis. This pitching change is brought to you by Midas. For brake, exhaust, suspension, and steering service, trust your car to Midas.
Out here, most guarantees turn to dust. So wherever you drive in North America, remember, Midas guarantees are honored at almost 4 times more outlets than anyone else's. Another reason to trust your car to Midas.
6-1 Expos into the 6th. Grissom is 2 for 2 with a walk. Richie Lewis on the mound now, the 3rd Marlins pitcher to work. Former Expos farmhand in his 42nd game, a 1-4 record and a 4.72 ERA. Grissom puts a charge into this, high into the air. Carr on the move, way back. It is off his glove and off the wall. And Grissom is already on his way to third base. Carr then threw, missed everybody in the ballpark. And Grissom's at third. He was going to stop at second until he saw Carr throw a fly ball back in that was almost as high as the one that went out.
Chuck Carr trying to make a circus catch here off the heel of his glove. Now, he has made highlight catches in the past, but here comes the key to this play. Instead of hitting the cutoff man, which probably would have stopped Grissom at second, for some reason he tries to throw it all the way to third base from right center field. And Marquis, seeing that no cutoff man was going to be involved, knew that throw was not going to get him. So he's all the way at third base, and the Expos have a scoring opportunity.
Marquise gets credit for a triple. The infield is in, and Floyd smacks the ball down behind first base, foul, strike one. Grissom's 4th triple of the year. Floyd is 1 for 3, has scored 2 and driven 1 in. The Expos have 6 runs on 11 hits. 0-2 on Floyd. Interesting to see Floyd and White back to back in the batting order, isn't it? Numbers 2 and 3 tonight. The number 1 pick in 1990, the number 1 pick in 1991. Floyd in 91. Oh and 2. And there is Rondell. Expos had 2 first-round drafts in 1990. Took Shane Andrews and Rondell White. Andrews playing third base for Ottawa.
Well, Floyd and Rondell batting back-to-back in the order. And usually when you see one on the road, you see the other. They are roommates on the road.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Floyd takes strike 3.
Left fielder Rondell White.
Rondell White, the batter.
Well, you can see the Marlins expecting Cliff to pull the ball on that last pitch. Looked like more of a offense that you see, defense you see from the Dolphins.
Ball 1 to Rondell White. White hit that smash back to the mound that really knocked David Weathers out of the game. 1 out of 3. Trying to get Grissom in from third with the infield in. If you listen carefully, and we'll allow you to listen to him, you'll hear Richie Lewis grunt loudly as he delivers the pitch to the plate. He does it on every single pitch. Thank you, Richie. Grissom in the rundown. White's already at second. The Marlins still have Grissom in a rundown. Everybody's been in on this, and he beats the play at third and now picks himself up and comes on to score, and Rondell's at third base. There's a rundown play to beat all rundown plays. Marquise Grissom, with his ability to stop and go on a dime, kept the rundown going. Everybody was in on it except Latchman. He's the only one that didn't get his hands on the ball in this rundown play.
Well, here it is from the start. Abbott goes to Santiago. Now, Abbott's problem was he didn't run right at Grissom himself. Jerry Brown has it. Marquise stops on a dime. It's headed back towards third. He would have made it right there. But then he decides to go back home. Brown has it. And he's not going to catch Grissom. Waits, throws the ball away. Grissom is safe. Conine backing up all the way from left field. The ball gets by him. Marquise getting the treatment from his teammates. And he is safe. I'll tell you, that's some kind of base running to get out of that.
Rondell White was injured on the play, and he is coming out of the game.
That's Will Cordero. That's like going 9 rounds.
Rondell limps on into the dugout. Boy, this series has taken its physical toll on the Expos. Rondell ran on the fielder's choice all the way to third base. Grissom beat the rundown, 7-1 Expos, and it's Rondell's right foot or ankle. Freddie Benavides coming into the game. Check that. Lou Frazier will come into the game. We need an outfielder to take over for Montreal. And so it is Frazier.
Is running at third base for Rondell White.
I think Rondell rounding the bases might have twisted an ankle, trying to make it as far as he can while Grissom had the rundown going, and I'm not sure which base he actually tripped up.
Wow.
Now, the only reason you might not see that on a highlight show during the sports is because it took too long.
A fly ball to left, way back Conine, and that one is off the scoreboard. Frazier will score run number 8. Walker's at second. 8-1 Expos. Walker's second double and third hit of the game.
Well, somewhat a milestone for Larry Walker here. His 40th double of the year, and he kind of just golfed this one off the wall in left field. Conine cannot get up high enough, and it hits off the scoreboard. Double number 40 for Larry Walker.
Darren Fletcher, the catcher, doubled in the first inning, drove in 2, struck out in the second, walked in the fourth. 2 runs in here in the 6th inning on a triple and a double and a messed up rundown play. Fletcher pops it up over toward the seat. Santiago watches it go back. The scoring on the play that saw Marquise Grissom score run number 7 goes 6, 2, 5, 2, 6, 5, E5. Foul back. Fletcher snapped an 0 for 15 when he doubled to drive in a pair in the first inning. 1 for 2 and a walk tonight, now hitting .265. The Expos up 8-1. Grounded first base side, foul. David Dombrowski looking back, talking to someone. That's assistant Frank Wren there. There are obviously some others there talking with David, who is not happy right now. Two and 2 to Fletcher. Ken, looks like Fletcher's getting a pretty good start on this road trip. in the mustache department.
Well, maybe going with the new look, trying to get a streak going. He had dropped off considerably with the hitting.
Fly ball down the right field line that's going to drop in there because Sheffield was playing over toward right center. That's another double for Fletcher and another run for the Expos, who lead 9-1. Walker's scoring. So 3 runs so far against Richie Lewis.
Well, 3 RBIs for Fletcher now, 3 for Walk as well, batting in front of him. And see Sheffield, you know, that's a deep right field line, 345. So anything that is caught up to in that corner is just about a 2-base hit. Fletcher has his second of the ball game.
9-1 Expos. They have out hit the Marlins 13-2. And Ken, for this weekend here in Florida, this has been really a mismatch.
No doubt about it. The Expos have won 10 out of their last 11 and trying to make it 11 out of 12 with a win tonight.
Cordero batting at .296. The only shortstop ahead of him in home runs is Cal Ripken. Whenever we talk about Cal Ripken, Ken, we wind up talking about his size. And it's not that Cordero's a small shortstop. He's not. He's 6'2", 190. He's as solid as could be. Chased one here, 1-2 the count. But Ripken goes even bigger than that.
Yeah, 6'5", 225. You don't see many shortstops that big. And tomorrow, Ripken will play in his 2,000th consecutive ball game. 2,000 games in a row.
This ball picked on a line by Abbott, but alertly Fletcher got back at second. Abbott wanted to double him off, but Fletcher got back. 2 down. Sean Berry will be the batter.
Third baseman, Sean Berry.
There's the sinking line drive just into the webbing of Abbott's glove.
See, he wanted to flip it, but Barbary was not to the bag. And plus Fletcher, seeing right away that he caught it, scrambles back to, there's nobody there to take the throw.
One strike on Sean Berry.
Cordero hitting that line drive. He is the only one of the position players not to have a hit in this game. And we've said it once, we've said it many a time. There's always one guy who doesn't get an invitation to the party. It's either in the mail or on the truck, or one of those excuses, those lifelong excuses that you hear. And with that line drive, Cordero could hear the music, but he couldn't get in the door.
One ball and 2 strikes the count on Sean Berry. Two and 2. We could hear the grunt on that pitch, couldn't we?
I don't know whether it was Lewis or Berry. Look at him trying to get out of the way. You know, we hear him grunt and groan. There was one pitcher who had the grunt, the groan, and the heat to go with it. Nolan Ryan. You could hear him all over the ballpark when he delivered. And as he was striking people out during the game, the other team was getting so angry at him. Every time he threw a pitch, they would grunt with him, trying to be louder than Nolan.
Berry drives this deep to left field. No doubt about it. It's up, up, and away. A long home run for Sean Berry. And an 11-1 lead for the Expos. Berry's second home run in this series. Number 8 for the year. 11-1 Expos.
Oh, this is crushed. A fastball up middle of the plate. And beyond the spot where Berry hit a home run the other night. The other night he hit one into that potted palm right there. Now Latchman out to the mound to talk it over with Lewis, but there's nobody warming up in the bullpen.
We'll get another look at this home run and watch it and listen to it. You could hear the pitcher grunt, and you could hear the crack of the bat.
I think the crack of the bat was louder.
Now, did you find that disconcerting as a hitter?
You know, with Nolan pitching? Just the fact that he was pitching was disconcerting.
Yeah, the grunting.
Oh, no.
No, it didn't bother you?
No. But if it was Nolan, just the fact that he was out there.
That would be.
Yeah, that kind
of fact that you knew that he was going to be out there even as you took the bus to the ballpark.
Even before we got into town.
Just knowing that his turn was coming up in the rotation.
Yeah.
5 runs here in the 6th for the Expos, who are up 11-1. Bell's 2 out of 3 and batting .278. The Expos came into this game 2nd in the league in team batting average, 4th in the league in runs scored. Bell goes down on strikes. 8 went to the plate. A 5-run inning for the Expos. Everything from a messed up rundown play to a tape measure home run. The Expos lead 11-1.
Sometimes I wish my backyard stretched right up to the U.S.-Canadian border. I'd sit on my lawn chair with a cold Labatt Blue. I'd watch some tourists, flash a smile at our customs agents, and taunt and tease the Americans with perhaps the finest example of a true Canadian lager. And if that doesn't rile them, I'll just stick in a tape of last year's World Series, or maybe the one before that.
Now it's time for your favorite snack. McCain Pizza Pockets. McCain captures perfect pizza taste in a pocket. Ready for that first bite. Now's the time for your favorite snack. Perfect pizza taste in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess, just taste. McCain Pizza Pockets. Just perfect pizza taste.
A reminder to stay tuned right after the game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Armor All. New low gloss Armor All Protectant. The protectant that leaves a rich, deep, low gloss finish.
No two people are exactly alike.
Hi.
While Bob likes the high gloss shine of original Armor All Protectant, Fred prefers new low gloss Armor All with the rich, deep finish.
I gotta be me.
Either way, it's your choice. Only from Armor All.
Pedro Martinez will face the top of the order here. Carr, Brown, and Sheffield. The Marlins scored a run in the first inning but did not have a hit until the 5th. Colbrin singled to right center. Santiago beat out an infield hit. That's all the Marlins have had. Lou Frazier remains in the game and is playing in left field, replacing Rondell White. Rondell White, who injured an ankle on that tour around the bases from home to third during the Marquise Grissom rundown play, which resulted in Grissom finally scoring a run. The first of the 5 runs in the 6th inning. Sure, you know the news by now, but the Giants won again today. They beat the Rockies 9-4, and Matt Williams hit 2. He's got 40 home runs. A called strike.
During his career, Dave, here's something to think about with this strike coming up. Here's something for Chuck Carr to think about.
And the pitcher, Pedro Martinez, is being warned by the plate umpire, Tom Hallion. And Latchman is going out to talk to Carr just to make sure that he doesn't go out onto the field. And Pedro, who has battled his control all night, is warned by Tom Hallion. Felipe pleads the case.
Now, you know what Felipe's saying. Why is he going to throw at somebody with a 10-run lead? Leading off an inning.
This goes back to Friday night when Chuck Carr was hit on the behind by a pitch from John Wetland, when the Marlins felt that the Expos did that intentionally, that they had been upset with Carr for past actions. And it might have carried over with this crew, plus the fact that Pedro's reputation precedes him. And Felipe is not happy with that, the fact that Pedro's been warned.
Well, here's a pitch, and Felipe's contention also that Pedro's a young pitcher, and it won't take too much to get him out of his groove. And that pitch behind Chuck Carr. The other night, Wetland didn't miss.
Hallion is also talking with Rene Latchman. The umpires are just going to try to bring a halt to all this, but it does go back to Friday night's game. In addition to Chuck Carr being hit on the backside by John Wetland, 4 Expos were hit in that game, one of them being Mike Lansing, who's out of the lineup because of it, and 2 Marlins were hit. So there were 6 batters hit by pitches in the Friday night game. And so here on Sunday night, and by the way, there was only 1 hit batter in last night's game. So here on Sunday night, with that pitch going behind Chuck Carr, Tom Hallion felt that that was intentional, and so he warned Pedro Martinez, and in turn the Marlins are warned.
I don't think it was intentional for another reason. Pedro Martinez is leading off next inning, and pitchers, you got to give more credit than that, to throw at somebody in the other team when you're leading off the next inning. And this game is out of hand, so the Marlins wouldn't think anything of throwing something near Pedro.
The pitch to Carr. Hit off the end of the bat, rolled to Cordero, backhands and bobbles, and Carr is aboard at first base. Here we'll get a look at it, and you can see Cordero try to field this on the backhand.
Off the end of the bat, first of all, and Chuck Carr with all kinds of speed. The pressure's on Cordero, and he can't come up with a play. And this is going to be scored as a base hit for Chuck Carr.
Jerry Brown, the batter, 0 for 2, has flied out and bounced out. 1 strike to Brown. Pedro Martinez here in the 6th inning. He has not pitched 7 innings in a start since he faced the Marlins June 26th at Olympic Stadium, when he went 7 in a losing cause. That was his only other start against the Marlins this year, and that is his record, 0-1 against Florida.
And Felipe would like to get him deep into this ball game. I mean, like the 8th or possibly the 9th inning if he can, and give the bullpen as much rest as possible, because the Expos are going to get back very late tonight, and then they have to start a series tomorrow night at the Big O against the St. Louis Cardinals. So a chance for Pedro to do the team a favor and take this ball game well into it.
The Expos sent tomorrow night's pitcher back to Montreal, Butch Henry. Here's a ground ball right side, scooped neatly by Bell, thrown to second, but Cordero can't pick it out of the dirt.
And look at Will, he's talking to Chuck Carr at second. Carr came in pretty close.
Carr and Cordero, and now Expos and Marlins all over the field. Nothing else has happened, not yet.
The key is the slide by Chuck Carr into second. And I don't think Will Cordero liked it because Chuck Carr came in low around the knees. And Cordero felt he was trying to injure him.
Most of the Expos working on trying to cool Cordero down. And Latchman's got a hold of Chuck Carr.
I get the feeling that Cordero's out of this game. Now, I don't know about Chuck Carr, but I get the feeling that Cordero is gone.
Well, the umpire, the second base umpire, Angel Hernandez, was right there to listen to what was being said. We know what we saw, and we saw Cordero reach out and push Carr after the verbal exchange.
And Will is still pointing at Chuck Carr. Yeah, he's saying, I'm going to get you somehow, somewhere. You know, if Angel Hernandez was standing there, he should have gotten in between them.
He had the opportunity for a moment to get in there. Now the umpires are doing what they can to get everybody off the field. They're still milling around out there because Cordero is really hot.
Yeah, this is going to take some time because Chuck Carr and he are still talking to each other.
Cordero's closest friend on the club, Freddie Benavides, moving in there now to try to help calm Cordero down. And there is the 22-year-old shortstop. So now the umpires have some decisions to make. And we'll see how it goes. The taunting began verbally, and it resulted in Cordero and Carr in a verbal exchange, and then the push. Then Cordero reaching out and pushing Carr. Here it is.
Here's the, you know, this is, I think this is a mistake number one by Juan Bell. And I'll say it in a moment. You see Chuck Carr come in and try and go for Cordero's foot, and Cordero trying to get out of the way. And I think that was, Chuck Carr knew what he was doing because he looked at Cordero right away. Right there, he knew what he was doing. He came in with intent, and then tried to elbow him. So Cordero, realizing what's going on here, first of all, he goes for the ball, and then he has something to say to Chuck Carr. Carr went for his ankle, then tried to get him with his shoulder. And this is all because Pedro Martinez went behind him. So Chuck Carr knew what he was doing when he went into second base. That was not a mistake. He was trying to retaliate for the pitch by getting one of the Expos players. And I think Bell made a mistake originally by going to second base with the throw.
11-1, just get the out at first base.
Get the out at first base, exactly.
Carr's run doesn't matter. So the throw should have gone to first, but here, I think when this initially broke up, Ken, I don't think Cordero knew he'd been tossed out of the game. Now Felipe's explaining what happened in his version.
He wants Chuck Carr out of the game for throwing an elbow at Cordero as well as going for his leg. See, Bell should have gone to first base because this is too tough a play at second. They put Cordero into all kinds. See the elbow by Chuck Carr.
He went with him first at the legs with his feet on the slide. Then he tried to get the elbow and the shoulder into him.
And I think Will said, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, I didn't throw the pitch at you or whatever he said.
Right.
And Chuck trying to spin him out of there even more as he came off the bag. I'll tell you, this is not over. The Marlins have to come to the Big O one more time this year. And I know when you get thrown at, or you feel you're being thrown at, you want to get somebody on that other team. And Chuck Carr might be a strong guy, but he's not the biggest guy on the Marlins. He's going to have a lot of help.
Now playing shortstop, number 15, Freddie Benavides.
Freddie Benavides takes over at shortstop, with Cordero having been ejected. And so here in the 6th inning, all this while, Martinez has had to stand around. 2 Marlins aboard, nobody out. Expos up 11-1. .85 pitches for Martinez. Sheffield hit a sacrifice fly to drive in the run in the 1st inning, and then he flied out to left field in the 4th inning. By the way, Brown was given an infield hit. Off the end of the bat, foul and out of play.
Yeah, I think a lot of this goes to the fact of the Marlins' temper. They've been thoroughly embarrassed this whole weekend by the Expos.
Yep.
I mean, they came back in a couple of games, made it interesting last night and the night before, but immediately after they got the game tied, the Expos just went back on the offense and blew them out of ball games.
Sheffield jammed, hits one foul down the left field line. He hit that in self-defense. Oh, 0-2 on Sheffield. A drive to left. Way back. Frazier, and it's off the scoreboard. Carr is home to score, and so is Brown on a double by Sheffield. 11-3.
Well, Sheffield has driven in all 3 runs. This is a changeup that he waits on and waits well. Frazier gets a little too close to the scoreboard and has to come back on it. Can't play the camera. It's going to be Grissom to come up with it. And the 2 runs will score as Sheffield picks up the 2 RBIs on a double.
We're going to get some activity in the Expos bullpen. They're going to have the left-hander Gabe White, who was just called up today. He replaces Jeff Fassaro, who has gone on the disabled list. So the left-hander warms up. Conine has struck out twice. Sheffield at second, nobody out. 0-2. There's White, the left-hander. Hit foul out of play to the right.
Be interesting to see how Pedro Martinez is affected by all of this, standing around waiting. In effect, when you look at the way the inning went, he's the kind of one to set things off.
Bell That's it for Conine. One down on the pop to Juan Bell. Greg Colbrin will be the batter.
First baseman,
Colbrin's bounced out and singled. He picked up the first Marlin hit with a base hit in the 5th inning. Colbrin with time on the DL has just 110 at-bats this season.
They had knee surgery earlier this year, then was out with a strained rib cage muscle, and you know, Expo fans are well aware of the problems he's had with his elbow over the years after surgery, and it's been a tough road to hoe for Greg Colbrin in early stages of his career.
1-1 on Colbrin. Santiago to follow. Colbrin's been driving in some runs. He's got 24 RBIs in his last 26 games. Martinez looks back at Sheffield, who doubled. 3-1 now to Colbrin.
Colbrin's been a very aggressive hitter. On a 3-1 count, you might expect him to swing at just about anything close, although, you know, sometimes you get a take sign when your team is down by so many runs and you need base runners.
Three and 2. One more pitch, and Pedro Martinez will have thrown 100 pitches. And there it is, and he walks Colbrin. Expos are up 11-3 here. Let's get this update from Baseball Tonight.
Little American League West matchup, California and Texas. JT Snow with an RBI single in the top of the first inning off of Kevin Brown will bring in Chad Curtis. Snow's name being tossed around in that perhaps trade with Minnesota.
Marlins are at first and second with one out. Benito Santiago up. Strike one to Santiago. He reached on an infield hit in the 5th inning, grounded out earlier. 1 out of 2 and a batting average of .268 on the year. This has been a long inning. Of course, it's been a long game, but this inning has produced 7 runs so far. The Expos scored 5 in the top of this inning. The Marlins have 2 so far.
A chance for Pedro maybe to get out of this inning with the double play. Santiago leads the Marlins into hitting into double plays, and a couple years ago when he was with San Diego, he led the league in that category.
Gets jammed here and pops it up foul to the seats. A few years ago, this would have been an average game in terms of time. We played 2 hours and 25 minutes. And this one is in the 6th. "11 runs, 14 hits for the Expos, 3 runs, 5 hits for the Marlins." Ball gets away from Fletcher, and all around, as happens sometimes in games where you have a big score, a big lead for one side or the other, things tend to get a little sloppy, and they're getting a little sloppy.
Well, there effectively goes the chance to get the ground ball double play and get out of the inning. This is the 104th pitch by Pedro Martinez, and he'd like to forget this one.
Second wild pitch he has thrown. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Santiago did not like that call and beefs to the plate umpire Tom Hallion.
Well, in a way, I got to agree with him. The glove is right there on the outside corner, and Fletcher has to reach for the ball. We can't really see that outside corner, but the fact that Fletcher had to reach for it, that might tell you, yeah, that looks outside.
That's the 5th strikeout for Pedro Martinez. 2 down. Kurt Abbott, the batter, has struck out twice. 2 Marlins in scoring position. Off Pedro's glove. Bell throws to first and gets the out. 2 runs for Florida, and they leave a couple, and we'll go to the 7th inning. 11-3 Expos. This is Expos baseball on TSN.
Introducing the last people you thought would ever use cellular. Introducing Amigo people. What's Amigo? It's from Cantel, and there's never been anything like it. It's cellular that's affordable. This is Amigo Safety. Just $19.95 a month gets you everything you need. It goes in your car so you're always in touch. It helps you feel safe and be secure. Amigo Safety is there when you need it. And isn't that the perfect reason for having it? This is Amigo Personal. Only $29.95 a month, and it gets you everything you need, including free calling every weekend. Amigo Personal goes anywhere. So when you're here, you're talking to Liz. When you're there, you're on to Frank. Here, there, just about everywhere, you're talking affordable. You pick the Amigo that's right for you. Where? Off the shelf where you shop every day. Amigo Safety, Amigo Personal from Cantel, starting as low as $19.95. At last, affordable cellular you'll find everywhere. Amigo.
Let's get ready to rumble. This is the main event of the evening.
Top Rank Boxing on TSN. Superstars who slug their way to glory. See championship action on Top Rank Boxing.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Montreal Expos Baseball Club and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Montreal Expos Baseball Club.
Well, we are going to have some changes here. You're looking at Richie Lewis. He's going to be pitching to Lenny Webster. Webster is batting for Pedro Martinez. After the pinch hitter, the top of the order, Grissom and Floyd. A strike to Webster. Webster, the backup catcher, hitting at .286, 4 homers, 21 RBIs. The Expos leading 11-3. Breaking ball over, 0-2 on Webster. Into the 7th inning here. Webster hitting one down the right side, but foul. Rondell White out of the game. Turned an ankle on the rundown play back in the 6th inning. Lou Frazier in, playing in left and batting in the 3rd spot. Will Cordero ejected from the game. Freddie Benavides into the game. Now Pedro Martinez taken out of the game, and Lenny Webster pinch hits. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Expos are home against the St. Louis Cardinals to start a 4-game series underway at Olympic Stadium tomorrow night. Vicente Palacios for the Cardinals and Butch Henry for the Expos. The Expos sent Butch back early to avoid the long night of travel. And Joe Kerrigan had a message he wanted to pass on to Butch Henry. The starting pitcher, night before he works, usually charts the game, so Joe is hoping that Butch is at home charting this game. Throw to first base for the out.
There's a fat chance of that happening.
Marquise Grissom 3 for 3 with an intentional walk, and he has scored 2. His batting average up to .292. He got shut down in the first game of this series and had a 9-game hitting streak come to an end. Then last night he hit a monster home run to left, his 8th of the year, and tonight has had 3 hits including a triple.
And Butch is probably sitting home right now saying, I hope they score 11 runs for me tomorrow night.
Pitch in the dirt and back to the screen. A ball and a strike. Well, the last time that Butch faced the Marlins, they got 9 for him. Here's a drive to deep left center, and this one is up and away. Another long home run for Marquise Grissom. His 4th hit of the night and his 2nd home run in this series. The 2nd home run allowed by Lewis.
Well, Grissom hit a home run on a breaking ball last night, and there's another one, and he hits it out of the ballpark. Well, 2 curveballs in the middle of the plate that Grissom has seen, and he has hit 2 tremendous home runs in this series. I don't think he'll see many curveballs the next time the Marlins face the Expos.
The Expos are up 12-3. Floyd swinging and missing. He is 1 for 4 and has scored 2. He's driven 1 in. The Expos on 2 different occasions this year have put Butch Henry into the starting rotation for an extended period. Back in May they needed him, and he came through with flying colors. Made 5 consecutive starts, won 3 of them, and had a couple of no decisions. Pop foul out of play. Then he went back into the bullpen for a short while, came out of the bullpen to work against Florida on June 24th at Olympic Stadium, and he won that game 9-0. And has been in the starting rotation since then, and he'll start against the Cardinals tomorrow night. One and 2 to Cliff Floyd. Two balls, 2 strikes. The Expos need to get some people healthy. Moises Alou on the mend, out with a right hamstring injury. Mike Lansing with the left elbow. Bad bruise. Rondell White with the right ankle.
So various players added to the walking wounded list.
Jeff Fassaro going on the DL today. 2-2 pitch, and Floyd drives the ball to right field. This one's up and away. A hard line drive home run to right by Floyd, and it's 13-3 Expos. Floyd with number 4.
Well, that's 2 no-doubters in a row. Grissom's and now Floyd. This is the second time this year they've gone back-to-back. They also did it in San Diego. Boy, that's a long way out there.
Barry's was a big blast in the last inning. So Lewis has come on to serve up 3. Lou Frazier up for the first time since coming in for Rondell White. Frazier batting at .289. Hitting .310 left-handed, where he sees most of his action. Floyd's first home run against the Marlins.
That ball was up there where people do not expect to see a baseball that close. You can see it's 345 down the line. That's a long right field line.
Frazier out. Fans right after the ball game will select the player of the game for the Marlins on behalf of Sanyo. Sanyo's Commander Plus cordless phone, the first cordless phone with battery backup, works during a power failure and has a lighted display. Sanyo Commander Plus, the clearest. A cash donation will be made to the Canadian Special Olympics on behalf of that player and Sanyo. Two down, Larry Walker up looking for his fourth hit. He's hitting .316. He has 2 doubles and a single. He's driven in 3.
Well, the Expos have now out-homered the Marlins on the season series 13-2.
Walker grounding that ball through for a base hit, his 4th hit. Grissom with a 4-hit game. Walker with a 4-hit game. Darren Fletcher looking for his 3rd hit. He's had 2 doubles and has driven in 3 and scored 1. The Expos have 13 runs on 17 hits. The last time the Expos scored as many as 13 runs, they scored 14. July 8th at San Diego and beat the Padres 14-0. A pop foul out of play off to the left. And the last time the Expos have had as many as 17 hits, that same game they had 18 against San Diego. Foul ball right side. The Expos have had 18 hits in a game several times this season. But their high is 19 hits in a game back on May 2nd at Olympic Stadium against the Dodgers. But so far tonight, 17 hits.
There's 2 1/3 innings to go.
Pitch is high to Fletcher. That's all for the Expos. Back-to-back homers, Grissom and Floyd. Lewis ends it with a strikeout of Darren Fletcher. And midway in the 7th, as the fans get up for the stretch at Joe Robbie, the Expos have the lead 13-3.
As one goes forth to unearth new treasures, one mustn't let primordial perspiration mess with one's style. Consider this discovery. Right guard, pure power, clear gel, antiperspirant. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff. After all, when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right guard, clear gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
You want a taste you can't resist? There's no bag chip you can pop like this. Chips and bags got busted pieces. Get your hands on the one that pleases.
The Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't stop.
You got the stack, you got the bunch. For a whole lot of takes of the Pringles crunch. You got the duckbill lizard too. Pringles brings great taste to you.
Pop, the Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't stop.
So can those bag dip Pringles chips. Ain't nothing like Pringles across your lips. Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop.
Well, some changes for the Expos. Gabe White comes on for Pedro Martinez, who went 6 innings. And the left-hander will be facing Brett Barbary to open up the bottom of the 7th. Gabe White had been pitching at Ottawa. And there you see the numbers, a 6-2 record with 9 starts and an ERA of 4. He pitched 54 innings, 51 strikeouts. So that's Gabe White at Ottawa. Lenny Webster stays in the game. He's doing the catching. And at first base, Randy Moose Milligan. Webster is in the 9th spot in the batting order. White goes into the 5th spot in the order. Barbary tonight is 0 for 2. Swings on White's first pitch and hits a towering drive to left center, and it is off the scoreboard. Grissom backs up the play, and it's a long double for Barbary. So Brett Barbary welcomes Gabe White back to the big leagues with a towering blast that in a lot of ballparks would have been a home run.
Yeah, only because of the height of the scoreboard that kept this ball from going out of there, just trying to knock an Expos hit off the board. Meanwhile, he's adding one more for the Marlins.
The Expos lead by 10, 13-3. The Marlins send Mario Diaz up to bat here in the 9th spot for Lewis. And then we'll go to the top of the order, Chuck Carr. Diaz batting .318.
Here's a guy who was in the Texas Rangers organization for a while, and the expansion kind of helped him out. The Rangers have Dean Palmer at third base, and he's doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Ground ball, base hit out into left center. Over to third, Barbary, and Marlins are at first and third against Gabe White, who was up with the Expos and made his major league debut the 27th of May as a starting pitcher. He won the game against the Colorado Rockies. He pitched in 4 more games in the month of June before being sent out on June 8th after his start on June 18th. He was 1-1 with the Expos, and after his first appearance and win, he did not pitch well and was sent out to the minors. Chuck Carr. He started off that furor in the 6th inning. And that foul ball hit Webster. I suppose what really started that off in the 6th inning was the pitch behind Chuck Carr by Pedro Martinez. And Pedro was warned. And then Carr eventually beat out an infield hit, went to second on Brown's ground ball to the right side. Bell threw to second. Carr went in at Cordero, tried to upend him with his feet and then with his elbow and shoulder. They exchanged words. Cordero pushed Carr. Benches emptied. Cordero was ejected, and play eventually resumed. Carr batting .265, 0-2 the count. And he has struck out. 1 down. 1 out. Jerry Brown will be the batter.
Third baseman, Jerry Brown.
Gabe White at one time considered the #1 rising star among pitchers in the Expos farm system. But his progress has slowed considerably, and he has not had a particularly good year.
You saw Lenny Webster coming over for a look. There is not much room in foul territory in this ballpark. As Dave told you early in the game, this Joe Robbie Stadium originally built for the Miami Dolphins. So they had to get a baseball stadium in here somehow. And most foul balls will get back to the seats.
White delivers low. Gabe White, the Expos' third selection in the 1990 draft, is just 22. Two balls and a strike to Jerry Brown. Brown 1 out of 3 in the game. Sheffield is on deck. Brown hits it foul out of play to the right. Pedro Martinez, the starter, went 6, gave up the 3 runs on 5 hits, struck out 5, walked a batter. Jeff Shaw, a veteran right-hander, up in the bullpen. White's job here is to eat up these innings. Foul ball back to the right. A 10-run lead. They just need him to rest the bullpen and take care of these remaining innings.
Fastball, curve, and a changeup for Gabe White. Jerry Brown looking for one of the 3. It almost found him.
3-2 the count. At times Gabe White has been very, very good, and at times mediocre, other times very poor. Here's a high fly ball, deep right field. Floyd back and under it. That is out number 2. Barbary will tag and score. 13-4. And in talking to people who have been around Gabe White in the development program in the Expos minor leagues, I guess inconsistency is one of the things that he really lacked. One of the things that has prevented him from making progress is his inconsistency. The start to start and week to week, month to month, you don't know what to expect from White, according to those who have tracked his progress. Oh, and 1 on Sheffield. Double to drive in a couple his last time up. Hitting .271 on the year. Ken, an old nemesis of yours inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame in Cooperstown today, Stephen Norman Carlton.
Congratulations to Steve Carlton. Certainly one of the best left-handers that ever threw a baseball, and maybe the best slider ever pitched in the major leagues over a period of time. Won 4 Cy Young Awards. Nobody has ever done that.
329 victories, second only to Warren Spahn among left-handers. And he is the all-time left-handed strikeout king. Of course, Ryan leads all strikeout artists. There's a drive foul left side. Steve Carlton had 20 wins 6 times, 20 or more. He pitched against the Expos in 69, 70, and 71 as a member of the Cardinals. And then from 72 into the 86 season with the Philadelphia Phillies. A fly ball to right, tracked down by Cliff Floyd, and that's all for the Marlins. They got a run. We'll go to the 8th. 13-4 Expos.
Today, a Pavlovian experiment. Using superior intellect and vast scientific knowledge, we spent 6 months conditioning the poor, unsuspecting subject to respond to a ringing bell with an uncontrollable craving for the ultimate beverage. A demonstration.
Just say no. Say no to costly roof replacement and disposal costs. The secret weapon of roofing professionals for over 20 years, Master's Choice can now save you hundreds to thousands of dollars on your shingle, tile, metal, and flat roofs. With just a roller, anyone can easily apply our industrial-grade, waterproof, seamless rubber roofing directly over your old, tired roof. 7 colors, water cleanup, and a 10-year warranty. The leak stops here with Master's Choice.
Well, we have searched the videotape. Now we find the reason why the Expos and the Marlins have had a go at it tonight. Here's what started the whole thing.
Well-coordinated bullpen effort by Pierre Arsenault.
And then the crowd, see up in the crowd, the Panthers mascot going at the Expos with a water gun. And in the car where the Dolphins, the Marlins mascot, Billy the Marlin, along with the University of Miami mascot, Sebastian the Ibis. And they were under attack by the Expos bullpen.
Now, not to think that the Expos are the only bullpen that does that. It happens with every club that comes in here. It's become a tradition as Billy the Marlin goes around the field in that truck at one point in the game that every bullpen throws water on it, knowing that how much that the Marlins like water. So they're just doing him a favor.
And they hate to see a live fish out of water.
And Pierre Arsenault, see, he's mapping it out for the next time they come here, who has what assignment to either throw the water on the Marlin or protect the rest of the bullpen from being hit by the water from Billy the Marlin. So Pierre, an excellent job out of the bullpen once again.
Now, Billy had help tonight because he recruited Sebastian from the University of Miami, the mascot from the Florida Panthers. Foul ball back out of play. Yorkis Perez in the game to do the pitching here for the Marlins. And the mascot from the Miami Heat of the NBA. So Billy the Marlin had recruited all that help. Some changes in the outfield with Chuck Carr and Gary Sheffield being taken out of the game. Matias Carrillo is in the game in center field for Florida. Darrell Whitmore in right field. Whitmore, the right fielder, and Carrillo in center field.
Third baseman, Sean Berry.
A strikeout for Perez, bringing Berry to the plate. Benavides gone. Two innings for Richie Lewis, a memorable 2 for Richie, who went out there and took one for the team. 7 tacked on to the ERA in 2 innings of work. On 7 hits.
Now the good news is he didn't walk anybody.
Struck out 3.
Yeah.
Sean Berry 2 for 4. Expos up 13-4. Reminder to stay with us after the game, and once again we'll show you the turning point, the TSN turning point, brought to you by Armor All. New low gloss Armor All protectant, the protectant that leaves a rich, deep, low gloss finish. Now I'm just curious because see, Ken is really the voice up here when it comes to picking the turning point of the game, but I'm just curious as to whether or not Sebastian or Billy the Marlin or any of those others will have anything to do with the turning point in this game. Bell is out. Barry to second on the play.
I seriously doubt that. I think tonight I might leave it up to producer Bruce Parent. Okay, here's a play by Colburn over to Perez, covering at first base. He barehands it, and just ahead of Juan Bell, gets him out.
2 down. Barry at second. Catcher Lenny Webster up, bounced out in the 7th inning. Of course, at Cooperstown today, in addition to lefty Steve Carlton, the Scooter Phil Rizzuto inducted, along with Leo the Lip, Leo DeRocher. Managed for 24 seasons, former player. Managed clubs to pennants back in the 40s and 50s and World Series. 3-time manager of the year. Now Webster is hit and Perez is out of the game, and he just walked right off the mound. He knew it.
Well, he tried to hit Lenny with the previous pitch and missed him. And Latchman's out of the game as well.
Latchman and Perez out of the game as Lenny Webster takes one for the team.
That's really weak. You know, you're trying to extract the pound of flesh. That's not going to work that way. You're behind by 9 runs and you're hitting guys. This is just going to inflate everything, and when they get up to Montreal, it's going to continue.
Yeah, this is not baseball. This happens when you get people involved that don't know the game and don't understand is what has happened here. That is absolutely ridiculous.
You see Larry Starr going off with Perez, and he's limping, and maybe he feels that Juan Bell stepped on his foot. So he had to get Lenny Webster, who is up next.
And Latchman is out to talk to Hallion.
Okay, watch it now as Juan Bell comes in the first. Does he make an effort to step on Perez's foot? I don't think so. He went for the bag. Here's another look at it. He does get a piece of Perez at first base. I don't think it was intentional. You can see he's going for the wide side of the bag. It just happened. Yeah, there's not good blood between these two teams right now.
No, not at all.
And I don't know what it's going to take to get either side satisfied that they've had enough retribution.
No, and I don't know why the crew, and Hallion in particular, is allowing Latchman to stay out there that long, other than the fact that he knows that Rob Nen has to warm up anyway. And so he's just willing to listen and hear Latchman out. The Expos are up 13-4. Do not try this at home. It can be dangerous to your health and to your reputation. So if anybody has taped this game, just destroy the tape.
Other than the fact there's been some pretty good hitting by the Expos. I mean, 13 runs on 17 hits, that's nothing to sneeze at. But the rest of this game you can keep. Put it in that file that's shaped like a wastebasket.
Rene Latchman needs a secretary. Got a lot of paperwork and bookwork there. He's got to get all that organized before he hands things over. Well, he's not going to hand it over. He's going to take it all with him, I guess. And it looks like Doug Rader has the lineup card. Marquise Grissom looking for his 5th hit. 4 for 4 with an intentional walk, including a home run, a triple. He could hit for the cycle if he doubles. Grip now hitting .293 and up against Rob Nen. And Grissom hits the ball on the ground. Up with it, Barbary throws to first for the out, and the side is retired. No runs or hits, and 2 are left. And we'll go to the Marlin half of the 8th with the Expos up 13-4. This is Expos baseball on TSN.
We're opening a new door in Midas Car Care with a little twist on lube and oil service, because now your car's old oil is actually worth something. Club Z points. For lube and oil service plus Club Z points, trust your car to Midas.
Summertime fun, need refreshment. Yeah! Summertime fun, need refreshment.
Introducing new frozen concentrated iced tea from McCain. Refreshing, thirst-quenching beverage made with the essence of unique tea blends. McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. Just a clean, fresh-tasting flavor of McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. McCain, great-tasting refreshment down to a T.
Jean-Luc Brassard, Canadian Olympic gold medalist.
To win gold, you've got to want it. So I push myself to do my personal best. That leaves my hair sweaty and out of control. So I reach for Pert Plus. I've tried some other 2-in-1s, but Pert Plus works. I get the control I want.
Pert Plus has control-enhancing conditioners that help smooth every strand to leave your hair more manageable.
With Pert Plus, I don't fuss. I get hair that I can control.
A winning combination for manageable hair.
You want to be your best? You gotta have control.
Every 4 years, the world's best athletes unite to compete for the goodwill of sport. Highlights of the 1994 Goodwill Games from St. Petersburg, Russia continue tonight on Real TV TSN.
Well, here's a look at the Expos schedule. At the bottom of the screen, you see the strike date. August the 12th, the Expos will have their next 4 games at home against the St. Louis Cardinals before hitting the road again, going to Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. We had a chance to talk to John Wetland about what he feels might be in the future.
I mean, it could go a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of rhetoric being thrown out there, both by the union and by the owners as well. There's a lot of different possibilities that are being thrown out there. No one knows for sure. This is basically a high-stakes poker game. All I know is that the strike is a last resort kind of a thing. We don't want to do it. No one wants to do it, but it might just be a necessary thing that we have to go through.
Gabe White will be facing Conine, Colbrin, and Santiago here. Conine 0 for 3 on the night. Lines a single off the glove of Bell, or is it a single? No. Bell recovered and got the ball to Milligan. Good play.
Well, nice play by Juan Bell as he recovers. The line shot, the leap just off of his glove. Looked like it hit him in the heel of the glove. Recovers and throws on to first in time to get Conine, who had an inviting target in Moose Milligan. Well, Conine deciding to go
the gentlemanly route.
Yeah, and not mess with the Moose.
Colbrin 1 for 2 with a walk. 1 down in the 8th inning.
You don't get the nickname Moose for just an ordinary reason. He's a strong man.
Colbrin loops a single to right field. His second hit. The Expos are up 13-4, and that's the 8th hit for the Marlins. Benito Santiago will be the batter. You know, Ken, I had mentioned the inductees into the Hall of Fame today: Leo DeRocher, Scooter, Phil Rizzuto, and Steve Carlton. We also want to mention the 4th man who was inducted into the broadcasters wing of the Hall of Fame, our good friend Bob Murphy, the voice of the New York Mets since their inception in 1962, when the Mets put together a broadcast team of Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Kiner, and Bob Murphy. Lindsey Nelson's already in the broadcast wing. Ralph Kiner's in the players wing of the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame, of course. And now Bob Murphy today, the longtime voice of the Mets. Bell to Benavides to Milligan. That's all for the Marlins. We'll go to the ninth. 13-4 Expos.
Congratulations to Michelle Corey, the winner of an Erickson Digital Circular Ball.
Tell you what, you think back to a few years ago when the Toronto Blue Jays would not give Jimmy Key the contract he was looking for. They let him slip away to the Yankees, and man, has he pitched well for them. Key winning his 16th game of the year today. He's 16-3. Got some help in the way. Paul O'Neill scaling the wall here with a nice grab. One of those days, lots of great grabs. He robbed Kenny Lofton of a homer there. Later on, Jimmy Key helps himself out, strikes out Eddie Murray off speed stuff there. Murray not all that happy with the strikeout. He continues to talk and argue, and he is going. He's out of there. Final score in this game, Cleveland out of there. New York 4-1 winners. Wade Boggs with his 10th home run of the year. New York 14-3 since the All-Star break. Texas and California, I told you it was a day for great catches. Show you one here a couple of times. Manny Lee with the shot and Chad Curtis with the grab. Didn't see it too well from that angle. We'll show you one more time a little bit more slowly. And what a nice grab there. Texas playing California. The score is 3-1. They are playing in the 4th inning. JT Snow with a couple of RBIs in that game. JT Snow's name coming up a couple of times today. One for his great play in that game, and he is also being mentioned in a trade rumor as going from California to Minnesota in return for reliever Rick Aguilera. That's just a rumor at this point.
13-4 Expos about hit the Marlins 17-8. And Rob Nen, who came on in the last inning and is the 5th Marlin pitcher to work, is out there. The starter, David Weathers, gave up the first 5 runs, going an inning and 2/3, and had to leave. Expos starter Pedro Martinez stands to win. Martinez to win, Weathers to lose. The Expos going for the sweep. And with a win tonight, the Expos will return home to take on the Cardinals, going 5-1 on their road trip to Atlanta and Florida. With a loss tonight, the Marlins will have lost every game of this homestand, playing the Phillies and the Expos. Gil Heredia up in the Expos bullpen.
Number 30.
Floyd, Frazier, and Milligan for the Expos in the 9th. One strike on Floyd. He lined the ball into the seats in right field in the 7th inning. His 4th home run of the year. 2 out of 5, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored for Cliff Floyd. The Expos have hit 3 home runs in this game. Ball and a strike to Floyd, who's now hitting .291.
Yeah, Nen has one of the best fastballs on the Marlins staff. And they feel it, you know, if Brian Harvey does not come back from injury, that Nen has a chance to take over as the closer.
One ball, 2 strikes.
But tonight, Nen's in the role of just eating up some innings. If you watch him, he has a bit of an unusual way of taking the ball out of his glove when he gets ready to deliver the ball. Kind of hesitates just for a second and then follows through. And that might throw off a hitter's timing.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and two.
Kind of draws the ball back slowly, you know, like your backswing, Dave. You bring it back real slow and then gather yourself at the top of the swing, and then boom, you follow through and right down the middle of the fairway, like that.
A strikeout for Rob Nen, 1 down in the 9th inning. Lou Frazier to bat. Pinch ran for Rondell White in the 6th inning. And Lou's 0 for 1.
Lou Frazier.
I think there's a lot of traffic now on I-95, both north and south of Joe Robbie Stadium.
Abbott with the play. Frazier's out. 2 down in the 9th. Bottom of the 9th inning. Marlins have the bottom third of the order coming up. Six Expos have RBIs, including Walker and Fletcher, who drove in 3 while they were in there. 2 Expos have had a 4-hit game tonight, Marquise Grissom and Larry Walker. Eight Expos have scored runs. And that includes every one of the position players in the starting lineup.
Yeah, there's some smoke coming off some calculators tonight when you add up the totals in this game.
With a win tonight, the Expos will go into the game tomorrow night with the Cardinals at Olympic Stadium with the best record in Major League Baseball. At the moment, both the Expos and the Yankees have 64 and 38 records. The Yankee game, of course, over this afternoon as they won their 64th. This will be win number 65 for the Expos. 3 up, 3 down, and nothing across, and we go to the bottom of the 9th, 13-4 Montreal.
Introducing the last people you thought would ever use cellular. Introducing Amigo people. What's Amigo? It's from Cantel, and there's never been anything like it. It's cellular that's affordable. This is Amigo Safety. Just $19.95 a month gets you everything you need. It goes in your car so you're always in touch. It helps you feel safe and be secure. Amigo Safety is there when you need it. And isn't that the perfect reason for having it? This is Amigo Personal. Only $29.95 a month, and it gets you everything you need, including free calling every weekend. Amigo Personal goes anywhere. So when you're here, you're talking to Liz. When you're there, you're on to Frank. Here, there, just about everywhere, you're talking affordable. You pick the Amigo that's right for you. Where? Off the shelf where you shop every day. Amigo Safety, Amigo Personal from Cantel, starting as low as $19.95. At last, affordable cellular you'll find everywhere. Amigo.
Into the bottom of the 9th inning. The Expos with 13 runs on 17 hits, and the Marlins with 4 runs on 8 hits, and the Expos 3 outs away from a sweep of this 3-game series. Our next telecast of Expos baseball on TSN. The Expos and the Pittsburgh Pirates a week from this coming Thursday. And that would be at Riverfront Stadium in Pittsburgh, and that date should ring a bell with you, August 11th, if there is no settlement. And that's at Three Rivers Stadium. Did I say Riverfront? At any rate, the Expos and the Pirates will play it at Three Rivers Stadium. Marge would not allow them to play it at Riverfront. And August 11th should ring a bell because that would be the final date of games, the final games played if the strike comes off to begin with games of the 12th. So I would think they'll be burning the midnight oil at the negotiating table as we do that game, and hopefully maybe even before then things will be resolved. The worst case scenario is a strike would begin at that time as those games end, according to the players union. The strike would commence at the end of the games scheduled on the 11th. Abbott's 0 for 3 tonight.
Dave, we've mentioned the fact earlier in the game that the Expos dominated the Padres this year by sweeping them 12 games to none. And in the series, the Expos outscored the Padres by 50 runs, 72-22, while beating them 12 games to nothing. As we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, this year against the Marlins, the Expos have done quite well and outscored them by plenty.
One down in the 9th.
It's 61-25 in favor of the Expos, including tonight's game as we go to the bottom of the 9th.
Second baseman,
the Expos will be 7-2 on the year with the Marlins.
Yeah, there's 3 more games to go,
including 5 out of 6 at Joe Robbie. Barbary doubled and scored, facing White in the 7th inning. 1 for 3 on the night. After this homestand, which will be over the next 4 days for the Expos, a 4-game series with the Cardinals, they hit the road again, going to Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. 2 down here in the 9th inning. Barbary out. White to Milligan. The center fielder will bat. Matias Carrillo. He is up for the first time. Batting .256, no home runs, 7 RBIs. The Expos will finish up the month of July with a terrific month. 18-8. Oh, and 2. One ball, 2 strikes. White's 3rd inning of work.
Carrillo does not see too many left-handers. He's primarily off the bench to face right-handed pitching. If he does get a start, you can be certain a right-hander is going to be pitching in that game.
He just got a piece of that, and it is 2-2. When this game started, there were 29,300 here. And just a few hundred left now, with the Expos on top 13-4, about to finish off the sweep over the weekend of the Marlins.
So Gabe White has done the job. He's come out of the bullpen, eating up the innings, and giving the rest of the bullpen the night off.
That's it for Carrillo and for the Marlins. The Expos sweep the weekend series. Pedro Martinez over David Weathers. 13-4, and the Expos maintain their 3.5 game lead on the Atlanta Braves. 65-38 for the Expos. 27 games over, and that's the most games over 500 they have been this year. A 13-4 win over the Marlins here tonight. This is Expos Baseball on TSN.
This summer, thousands of fans won tickets to the year's biggest concert event courtesy of Labatt Ice. Now we're giving you a commemorative Division Bell poster. Look inside specially marked cases of Labatt Ice for your poster, or call 1-900-561-5353.
Introducing a cereal from Kellogg's. Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Taste them again for the first time.
Just who do these Goodyear guys think they're fooling with this Aqua Tread? Do they seriously think that this groove down the middle will grip better on wet pavement? Ha! Prepare to be embarrassed!
How effective are Goodyear Aqua Treads? Our doubter is in the red car with regular all-season radials. The white car with Aqua Treads actually channels water, significantly reducing the chances of aquaplaning.
Who knew?
Aqua Tread. See it for yourself today, only at Goodyear.
We're in a garbage crisis. One reason McCain chose to pack their juices in these aseptic boxes rather than non-refillable glass bottles. 1 liter aseptic packages use 88% less material than non-refillable glass, generate 85% less solid waste, consume 62% less energy. Plus, it would take 30 trucks to ship 1 million empty 1 liter glass bottles to their factories and just 2 to ship the equivalent in aseptic packaging.
McCain made their choice for the environment.
Now it's time for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Armor All.
Well, let's go back to the top half of the first inning. The Expos already have 1 run on the scoreboard. They're about to pick up a couple more. Darren Fletcher's been struggling with the bat, but not here as he lines a shot down the right field line. A couple more runners are going to score. Cliff Floyd and Larry Walker will come in, and the Expos will be up 3-0 on the way to their 13-4 victory tonight over the Florida Marlins.
A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport. On behalf of TSN and Armor All, new low-gloss Armor All Protected protects like original Armor All, but leaves a rich, deep, low-gloss finish. The Expos over the Marlins 13-4 and sweep a weekend series, and the Expos go home to take on the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hey, this new Pepsi Max is really something, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it tastes of regular cola and 1/3 of the calories.
I'll grab that for a second.
Yeah, sure.
What are you doing?
I want to see if they filled it up 1/3.
Can't you just enjoy the taste
It's
without...
the only way to explain this calorie thing.
You're not going to open it, are you?
Oh, don't worry. You see, the lower pressure created by the chilling will keep the expansionary forces of the carbon dioxide at bay.
Who's going to open it?
It's elementary.
New Pepsi Max.
Oh, jeez.
All the taste, 1/3 the calories.
As one goes forth to unearth new treasures, one mustn't let primordial perspiration mess with one's style. Consider this discovery. Right guard, pure power, clear gel, antiperspirant. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff. After all, when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right guard, clear gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Put your car on a new set of Bridgestone tires and put us to the test for 30 days. See your local Bridgestone tire dealer for details. Bridgestone, advanced technology tires. Put us to the test.
You want a taste you can't resist? There's no bag chip you can pop like this. Chips and bags got busted pieces. Get your hands on the one that pleases.
The Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't stop.
You got the stack, you got the bunch. For a whole lot of takes of the Pringles crunch. You got the duck-bill lizard too. Pringles brings great taste to you.
Pop, the Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't stop.
So can those bag dip Pringles chips. Ain't nothing like Pringles across your lips. Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop.
21st century warriors. Displaying maximum muscle power in the games of the future. These are the American Gladiators, appearing Mondays on Real TV, TSN.